Ouais. Mais les gars... Ouais, d'où ça... Y'a pas de son, hein.
Allô les gars. Allô. Non, vous m'entendez comme ça les gars. J'espère que c'est pas trop fort pour vous. Attendez, je vais voir en live. Allô les gars. Ouais, c'est bon. C'est bon. Ça va BG, ouais, ça va. Yohan, oh, ça fait longtemps. Ça fait longtemps.
Ouais.
Il se l'est pas liké les gars, on est 5, il y a que 4 likes.
Comment?
Ouais, j'ai pas lancé.
Bah parce qu'il a envie de faire un live.
Ça va, ouais toi, Nof. Baissez le son les gars. Enfin, Yohan, baissez le son. Qui veut rejoindre les gars, on peut, enfin, tout le monde peut rejoindre. On va faire avec le pompe à charge, donc pour ceux qui...
Ouais, vas-y. C'est chaud. Ah ouais? Ouais, quoi?
Non mais juste, est-ce que tu peux leur dire d'arrêter de live parce que j'entends en fond.
Live PP. Enfin, écris Doc Size et tu verras.
Bah c'est bon. En vrai la batte elle est beaucoup trop stylée.
Ouais, elle est trop stylée, on est bien d'accord.
Ouais.
Non, c'est pas.
Ah, pardon.
Est-ce que tu veux. Enfin, est-ce que tu peux démute Yad, Didi? Yad.
Attends. Lui, attends.
Ah, oui, Yad. Tu peux démute Yad? C'est ce qu'il dit. Non, c'est pas. Ouais, par contre, c'est vraiment un bordel. Hein. Un bordel de ouf.
Après, faut chercher. Ouais, c'est vrai.
Ouais, je peux plus bouger. Je coupe ton live, sinon je bloque trop.
Ok.
Je peux plus bouger. Je vois rien. Je vois encore les armes. C'est quoi ce bug? What?
Oui,
quoi? Mais what? C'est quoi ce bug?
On va relancer la game, tranquille. Juste attends. Reparle.
Mais what?
Reparle. Juste dis un mot. Reparle.
Allô?
Voilà, merci, c'est bon. Non, je réglais juste le son.
Les gars, je fais ça. Et je peux rien faire. Bon, je vais relancer mon jeu, j'ai la flemme.
Mais t'inquiète, non, qu'on va tuer, genre ça va être bon.
Ah bah enfin, je suis retourné à l'accueil. On va demander 5 ans. Attends.
Merde, putain.
Alors,
eh, j'abuse là avec ce pompe.
Allô, Yad? Ça va?
Non, prends
non, par contre là t'as
c'est bon, tu m'as éclaté. De quoi Tony au beurre?
Yad?
Yo viral, yo Keisha.
Doc Size.
Ouais.
Yad il te demande est-ce que tu peux le démute?
Ouais bah attends.
Il a dit ouais. Enfin il va le faire là.
Attendez les gars, je vais juste faire. Faut juste que je mette l'overlay.
Mais what? C'est normal que... Oui, tu...
C'est bon. Mais what, pourquoi je me vois pas en live? C'est bon, je me vois en live. Tu as acheté la pioche aussi? Ouais, je l'ai acheté.
Ouais, logique.
Le bug.
Ouais, c'est à Keisha.
Ouais.
Bah, rejoins, on fait comme l'autre fois là.
C'est bon, je te laisse.
Ouais, et que lui, vous pouvez couper le live s'il vous plaît, parce que non, je m'entends deux fois.
Justement, sur ça, moi
Pas grave.
On peut couper le live, c'est bon.
je les ai mutés, hein, ceux qui ont mis le live.
Même moi.
Ouais, c'est ça, viral.
Coupez le
Tu pourras le
live.
remettre quand quelqu'un pourrait
Pourquoi tu
demander.
m'as mute, toi?
Non, bah non,
coupez le
je te
live,
parle.
les gars.
D'accord.
Ils comprennent pas. Comment ça se passe? Mais les gars, coupez le live.
Ouais, coupez le live. Coupez le live, please.
Coupez le live.
Putain, je peux rejoindre avec toi.
Vous
Je vais rentrer
regardez
viral.
le live de Doc
Vas-y, ça dit pas.
Vous
Tu m'as
entendez
tout
rien?
encore.
Comment ça se
D'accord,
passe?
Tony Aubert.
Est-ce que tu m'as mute?
N'hésite pas à t'abonner, hein, Tony Aubert.
Est-ce
Non,
que
je
tu
t'ai
m'as
pas mute, Yolan.
Les gars, coupez le live.
Non, mais t'inquiète, mais mute-les, moi je les ai
Peux
mute de
pas
toute façon.
parler, s'il vous
T'inquiète,
plaît,
mute-les,
par
mute-les.
Mais coupez le live.
Keisha, t'inquiète, je les ai mute.
Oh, mais on rend
Mute-les.
fou.
Ouais, mute-les, c'est bon.
Il va falloir que ce soit Yod,
Oui, mais
ou
des
soit...
mutes. Ouais, après, t'inquiète. Je regarderai ça, enfin, je fais juste au début un peu sans... un peu que
On
avec
comprend pas,
Yolan
on peut leur dire quelque chose. Hein,
et
c'est
Keisha.
bon.
Mais t'as un live alors.
Adem, vu que tu spammais mon frère en demande d'amis, il t'a bloqué. Parce que t'arrêtais pas de le spam en demande d'amis, ça l'a énervé du coup.
Par contre, tu peux arrêter de faire ça.
Par contre, Prince... En fait, je vais les mettre tout le monde, les gars.
Les gars, ne tuez pas, s'il vous plaît.
Mais les gars, coupez le live. Vas-y, je vais les mute là parce que... Ouais.
Non. Oh, mais c'est bon, quoi.
C'est mort de chute.
Ouais.
Je suis arrivé, ça marche.
Non, mais. Ouais, mon chute.
Pourquoi je m'entends pas?
Il est nul.
Mais Doc, je m'entends. Allô?
Ouais.
C'était Shuriken.
Ouais.
C'était Shuriken.
Ouais, quoi.
Doc, c'était Shuriken qui a de live. Il est pas loin de là.
T'as dit quoi?
C'était Shuriken. Du coup, démute tous les autres et mute Shuriken.
Ok, attends. Bam, je regarderai juste ma cam.
Allô, les gars?
Et vas-y, 22
Voilà, parfait.
Ouais.
Parfait, les gars. Bam.
Allô?
Allez.
Allô?
Voilà, c'est bon.
Quoi?
Normalement, les gars, le live il est de bonne qualité. Normalement.
Ah ouais, je sais pas si j'accepte les demandes d'amis.
Non, t'inquiète, c'est pas grave. C'est pas la moi.
Attends. C'est quand la face cam? Ah bah t'inquiète pas, là je vais faire des vidéos face cam et après je le ferai en live. Tu vois les gars, je peux juste faire vite fait.
Tu sais que mon frère il a augmenté. Mais attends, mais là, Doc, t'as 1100 abonnés.
Ouais, je sais. Ah non, 1010, 1010.
T'as 1010 abonnés.
Ouais. Normalement, si je dis pas de bêtises, après peut-être je dis des bêtises.
Eh ben, je prends la pad.
Vas-y, le temps, je...
Lui qui avait fait sa balle de tête, il est trop nul.
Non, mais.
Wouhou. Ouh, c'est parti là. Hein. C'est parti les gars. C'est... Ouh.
Ouais, laisse qu'il blanc.
Ouh, 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 ouh.
What? Oh, comme ça,
Au niveau de la face cam, ça allait loin les gars. Hein. Ça allait loin au niveau de la face cam. Ah.
Eh, t'as pas demandé qu'il y a un détail d'aide?
Non. Les gars, si on atteint les 20 likes,
Non.
je fais live face cam. Maintenant, genre tout de suite.
Ah, allez.
Genre sur ce live, s'il y a... Oh merci de ton Uber. Donc comme je dis, s'il y a 20 likes sur ce live, bah je la fais en face cam.
20 000 likes.
Tu mets ta
Non,
face cam?
20 likes sur le live. Si à 20 likes et voilà. Je la fais en...
Là, t'as qu'à 6 likes.
Ouais, justement. Ouais, comme ça, au moins,
Ouais.
on connaît ta tête de visionnaire.
Il est horrible le bruit. Ah, mais c'est pas, t'as fait trop beauté.
T'as mis le code créateur DocSize. Ok. Comme... Ah, c'est bon, ça bug plus. Enfin, ça bug.
Normal, les gars,
Ouais, je peux pas les récupérer.
Ouais.
c'est Doc, après, tu veux partir en arène ou pas?
Ouais.
Tu l'as là. Non, je l'ai pas.
Mais tu sais, Doc, tu vois, je mets qu'un mec crack, lui, il rush la fois, dans les yeux, il me met en moisson en sniper, il me met 2 balles d'air, il me met 1 balle d'air et 2 balles de complétif violet.
Juste... Attendez les gars, mais tu sais pas plus.
Mais vas-y, pourquoi?
Bah, attendez.
Moi, j'ai que du 75 là.
Tu connais quelqu'un après?
J'ai que du 75 sur le point. Les autres,
Tu connais quelqu'un après?
22.
Oh, le bâtard.
Parce que je t'ai pas fait un
Karma,
bug.
dis-toi, il a dit.
Oh, le demeuré sniper,
Karma de ta voiture.
ça retourne au lobby, ça.
Traversée virale d'abord, mais je vais bien.
Et mon frère, il s'est qualifié là, il est dans la team.
Ouais, ça, j'ai vu.
Après, tu vois, c'est un petit peu nul parce qu'il y a quand même beaucoup de qualifiés.
Ouais, c'est ça qui est chiant en fait.
Sur les 18 personnes qualifiées, il y en a 11 qui sont dans la team. Tu vois, c'est vraiment... Après, personnalisé, c'est quoi? Oui. Ouais, mais je là...
Mais c'est normal au début.
Ouais.
Mais c'est quoi, t'as fait quoi la gueule?
Ouais, d'où tu pouvais bouger, quoi.
Vas-y, mais c'est la fermate, hein. Ouais, bien. Est-ce que vous avez un écran noir ou...
Ouais, non, t'inquiète, là j'ai l'écran. Il y a les coffres. Par contre, le bruit c'est horrible.
Oh, c'est bon. Ouais, ça se fait pas bien. Donc, tu vas faire la reine là, avec Doc. Ouais, bah tu vas en faire avec nous ou pas de la reine?
Ouais.
Vas-y, go, on en refait une.
Non, non, après, après, genre. Pas de suite quoi.
Non, mais juste vous avez quoi?
Quoi?
Ah merde, putain, regarde.
Tu quoi, Wald?
Oui.
Mais pourquoi j'ai pas.
Ouais, peut-être viral.
Mais c'est bon, j'en ai marre.
T'es trop nul, hein, Yolan.
Ah, lui qui me tire dessus, il a vraiment 0 shoot. Hein.
C'est pas moi, je te le dis tout de suite.
Il est même pas en train de bouger, il est même pas venir des gars.
Là, c'est moi avec une règle.
Ouais.
On va faire la rentrée ou pas? Non, j'ai pas compris.
Ouais, bah go faire l'intérieur.
Oh, mais quoi que Jeanfils.
Là, il est d'accord. Oh, mes frères, mais je suis dessus.
Bah, ouais. Moi, je sais pas si je vais faire un
Frère!
Bah, je sais pas, là, c'est assez chaud.
Bâtard.
J'aurais pas aimé.
Ça
Mais
pioche, hein.
je lui ai mis un 74 dans la dette, à un moment il faut arrêter aussi. Hein.
Sinon, je vais renommer le live. Au 20 likes, je monte ma tête.
Mais frère, mais le bruit il est trop horrible.
Tu vas renommer le live comment?
Au 20 likes, je monte ma tête.
Au 20 likes, tu mets ta facecam.
Ouais.
Ouais.
Si, c'est genre là par contre là. On va dire au 25, allez, on va arrondir au 25.
Mais non, frère, déjà que t'auras jamais les 20 likes. C'est vrai que pour ça, il est. Après, moi, je dis ça, je sais même pas si j'ai liké.
Bah, like. Après, si tu veux pas voir ma tête.
Mais vas-y, mais j'en ai marre. C'est bon, j'ai plus envie de jouer.
T'as dit quoi, Doc?
Si tu veux pas voir ma tête, like pas. Mais si tu veux voir ma tête, like. Voilà. C'est simple.
Moi, je m'en bats les couilles de ta tête.
Bah, si, parce qu'elle est trop belle.
Je l'ai déjà vu.
Ouais, j'ai tombé à la
Doc, je l'ai déjà vu ta tête. Non, non.
J'ai un IM bot. Là, voilà, c'est dit.
Moi, je le connais dans la vraie vie, donc non.
C'est, vous connaissez dans la vraie vie?
Ouais. On fait du handball ensemble et tout.
Vous êtes dans la même école?
Non, on fait juste du handball ensemble.
Non, on est pas
Et
du
on
tout
se
dans
connaît
la-
vraiment.
on fait du hand, en fait.
On se connaît vraiment bien, quoi.
De quoi? J'ai pas envie. Attends, les gars, j'arrive.
What? Hein? On peut même aller. Non. Oh.
Ouais, frère, il a combien de splash aussi? Merci pour l'info. Il a pu se remettre 80 HP.
Ouais, mais avec des mini. Allez. Oh, la technique.
Ah,
200
bah,
IQ.
Merde. J'ai plus de bulle.
19.
Non, non.
Allez, chitonne. Allez, Doc, c'est pas de soucis.
Non, je suis trop nul.
Il avait fait.
C'est bon.
D'habitude, tu live pas le soir, Doug.
Là, j'ai live.
Ouais, mais là, il avait envie.
T'as vu, Doug, il y a un tournoi en section dans 3 jours.
Ah ouais. Mais je pourrais pas.
Dans la coupe, là.
Je pourrais pas, je pars en vacances. Ouais, les gars, je vous ai pas dit, mais ceux qui sont sur le live, je vais partir en vacances. De 10 jours.
Oh. T'as dit quoi?
J'ai dit pour ceux qui savent pas, enfin, je vais partir 10 jours en vacances demain. Là, ce soir, je vais préparer les vidéos. Et, voilà.
Toi, t'as un pigeon voyageur, en fait.
Ouais, on m'appelle le pigeon voyageur dans le jargon.
Toi, t'as un gros pigeon voyageur. C'est qui la merde? C'est passé, mais il est un petit peu trop nul, quoi. Ah, moi, je vais me prendre un gros karma, en fait.
Ah 30 de là-bas, what?
Allez, chez. C'est pas Doc qui l'a eu.
Non.
Prenez pas la porte.
Non, mais j'arrête. Non, j'arrête, je suis trop nul. J'arrête, je suis trop nul.
Nul.
Ça voulait pas Reddit en fait.
Oui, 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 cherche des excuses.
C'est pas une excuse. Hein.
Mais le bruit du coffre là, il va me. Oh.
Après aussi, si t'as ton truc à 100%, c'est un peu normal. Hein.
On a combien de likes?
7.
Oh, bah ouais, mais là, on a 13 likes.
8 likes. 8 likes.
Ouais. Bah, c'est 3 fois moins que les likes de mon frère hein, sur son live. Hein.
Oh là là, on s'en fout de ton frère. Et on restait plus là-bas avec la cloche. Désolé, je rentre pas sur le live. Désolé. Après, sauf si t'es actif.
Tu arrêtes pas. C'est méchant de pas faire un raid aux abonnés. C'est méchant de
Yo,
pas faire des raids
Fishing
aux
City.
abonnés.
Bah, c'est pas du live fait ta pub. Sinon, ça serait marqué live fait ta pub.
Bah, Code Familia, il a 1 million sur sa chaîne, 400 000 sur l'autre et 100 000 sur l'autre, il fait bien de la pub. Hein.
Oui, mais. Non, mais c'est ce que c'est des live fait ta pub au moins.
Bah, si, il dit à des gens, allez vous abonner. Hein.
Bah, non. Ah, non, c'est pas du tout ça. C'est genre, tu t'abonnes à ma
Ah,
chaîne.
si, tu fais ta pub.
Ah, non, non, c'est pas du tout ça. C'est genre, tu t'abonnes à ma chaîne,
Du
après,
raid.
je te rends, genre. Genre, s'il s'abonne à ma chaîne,
mais...
après, je m'abonne à la sienne, tu vois, ça se fait pas. Enfin, après, genre, y a personne qui sera activé tout.
Enfin, c'est du raid. C'est pas de la pub. Oh, petit gars, mon dog. Ok, d'accord.
J'ai rejoint un nouveau clan. Un clan de BF. Tu peux m'offrir un cadeau STP? Non, tu peux me faire un cadeau. Non, désolé, j'ai pas assez de bébés. De toute façon, j'ai acheté la batte.
À part si tu lui fais un don de 50 €.
Voilà, c'est ça. Oh le bâtard. Oh, c'est bon.
Oh.
T'as pas d'agame.
Mec,
Non. Oh là là, chiton.
Bah, chiton.
Chiton. Chiton. Qu'est-ce que tu fais, toi? Oh là là.
Putain, mec. Il va me rendre fou ce bruit. Vas-y, go faire go faire les 5 manches, après on part en arène.
Fais les 5 manches, on part en arène, trio.
On fait les 5 manches, on part en part.
Arène, trio.
Ouais, mais de toute façon, à coller de viral, tu fais pas de. T'as pas de chaîne YouTube, donc ça sert à rien.
Et moi je veux pas, je vais faire un pompe à charge.
Moi, j'ai un pompe à chat par les plus. Ah, je l'ai pas eu.
Ah, moi j'ai eu un verre. C'est bien mieux. Tu sais, Doc, j'ai pas résisté, j'ai acheté la pioche.
Que j'ai là?
Ouais,
Ok.
j'ai acheté ta pioche. Comment ça fait au moins 6 mois que j'attends cette pioche.
Vas-y, dites. Mais vas-y, ça
Frère, je me chitonne. Eh frère, je te chitonne.
En fait, t'es chiton, mais t'es mort.
Attends, t'es mort de chute.
Moi je te chitonne.
Je m'en fous, t'es mort de chute.
Et moi je te chitonne.
C'est vrai.
Oh, il est trop nul, Shuriken. C'était trop simple pour le petit dog.
J'attendais.
Bon, on attend les 20 likes. Hein.
Ouais.
Quoi?
Moi, j'attends.
Là, sur la chaîne de Clé,
Là, je
tu
peux
auras
rejoindre.
déjà
Bah, bien
les
sûr,
50 likes.
Taiko. Bien sûr, Taiko, tu peux rejoindre. Tu me dis ton pseudo et je t'ajoute et tu rejoins.
Tu sais que Clé, il a gagné 150 abonnés en 1 minute, Dog.
Bah, je sais. Grâce au. Comment il s'appelle, la code familiale. Enfin, stream.
Tu sais que ça va encore monter, hein, parce que là, c'est que le début.
Go like, ouais, Clay. Go liker. Yo, Dog. Yo,
Tu
Caprison.
sais qu'il va pouvoir liver sur sa chaîne, hein, mon
Ouais, je
frère.
sais, il va live.
Kancha.
Quoi?
Hier, j'ai pas pu faire la bannière. Oh, t'inquiète, c'est pas grave. Mais est-ce que tu pourras la faire
Il a
ce
dit
soir?
quoi?
Je t'emmerde.
Ah.
Je t'emmerde, t'as dit.
J'ai rien dit de méchant, hein.
Oh, le bâtard.
Désolé, Shuriken, mais en plus, c'est moi aussi.
What? Attends, c'est lag.
Non, 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 non.
Il est nul.
Ah oui, je t'ajoute, j'ai le badro. Bah, tu m'as compris.
Mais mec, comment t'es mort en fait?
Bah, tu peux aller voir sur le live. On a 11, il m'en manque 9, les gars. C'est facile, là.
Ah bon?
Bam, alors. Bam.
Oui.
Tiens.
Attends. Je joue. Mais attends, je finis là. Les gars, après j'arrête.
Ah, vas-y.
Et puis attends, maman, j'ai fini.
Oh non, 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 il faut pas que je meure par lui. Hein.
Merci, c'est très sympa de ta part.
Oh, le bas. Oui, mais celle qui l'a mis, je vais refaire.
Ah, c'est genre face.
Pourquoi? Non, mais genre. Oui, mais tu m'as compris, mais je veux le même style, genre. Le même style, comme je t'avais dit, genre avec. À côté. Enfin, tu m'as compris, quoi. Avec la même. Presque la même police, sauf en Fortnite. Ouais, tu m'as compris, quoi.
Dis bien.
Vas-y, bah, je t'ai
Ah, bah, yeah, je suis pas mort.
je te fais.
Fou.
De quoi
Ok,
Capricone?
vas-y.
Si tu veux, je te fais quoi?
Du coup, tu fais pas d'arène, toi?
Bah, s'il peut pas, c'est un peu logique.
Tu fais pas d'arène à World?
Sinon, on va prendre le badro s'il est fort. Ça me
Y'a
dit que
quoi?
tu peux pas jouer.
Il a même pas de micro, j'ai le badro. C'est chaud. Hein.
Ah, c'est bien, voilà.
T'as dit quoi? C'est toi qui as parlé?
Ouais. C'est juste.
Tu peux parler, s'il te plaît?
Parce qu'en fait, ton micro il est tout. Ah non, c'est bon. Ouais, c'est bon.
On t'entend pas, mec.
Ça va me prendre 30 minutes. Mais de quoi jusqu'à
on
prochaine de
t'entend
quoi?
Et tu m'entends là?
Si, on t'entend.
Ok, c'est bon. Ok. Et t'es fort en Fortnite?
Ouais.
Ok. T'as fait des perfs, t'as 300 earnings sur Fortnite?
200.
Est-ce que t'es chez Solari?
Salut, je peux jouer si tu veux, Hugo du Brefort.
Parce que moi je cherche
Tu me
un
dis
mec
ton
qui est
épique
chez Solari.
Et je t'ai ajouté, voilà.
Du coup, est-ce que t'es fort?
Non,
Parce que moi j'ai 300 earnings, 1000 de Power King, j'ai perf au Winter Royal et tout.
Non, mais t'inquiète, j'ai déjà. Les gars, vous inquiétez pas, j'ai déjà un mini maker. Et en plus, il est fort. Donc...
Oh, il est PC en plus, il a l'air pas très nul. Hein. Oh, mais j'ai pas me faire cheater par deux. Il est...
Parce que ça veut dire quoi ça? Ça veut dire quoi ça? Non! Ouais, vas-y, je vais t'ajouter après, Hugo.
Attends, je suis week-end parce que il est pas ouf. Oh non, je me râle. Les gars, vous avez rien vu.
Moi, dis-toi, je te demande ce que j'ai déjà fait comme mini. Ok, Capricone. Vas-y. Mais juste avant, j'ajoute Hugo. Bah. N'hésitez pas à liker, les gars.
Vas-y, ajoute comme ça, on est
Et yo,
pas
faut
dans
juste
la mauvaise
que.
zone.
J'espère que t'es abonné et que bah t'as liké live. Comme ça, au moins. Bah. Genre, tu joues, mais au moins ça.
Et Doc, force pas les gens à s'abonner à ta chaîne. Hein.
Mais non, mais c'est juste parce que, genre, après, genre. C'est pas de rejoindre juste parce que t'es pas beau, genre. T'arrives sur live, tu dis juste. Salut, est-ce que je peux rejoindre? Genre, je sais pas. Attends,
En plus, quand ils vont voir ta tête, ils vont dire ah, vas-y, je me casse du live.
Il ferme. Oh, allez, c'est bon. C'est bon.
Je rigole.
Bam, on va faire.
Allez, on les spawn tous les avocats là. Doug.
Ouais.
Du coup, après, on fait de la reine ou quoi?
Peut-être.
Bon, on va faire avec. Je fais Badro.
Ouais,
Badro, t'es chaud pour faire de la reine?
Ouais.
Ah, merci, Hugo.
T'as pas envie de faire de la reine?
Juste, il est venu live pour faire de la moving. Hein. Je casse pas les couilles.
Il a dit quoi, Doug?
Il a dit non. Oh, putain.
Ah, ok.
C'est bon, mais Jonathan de Doc Size. Oh, le bâtard.
Ouais, moi, on aurait essayé. Ok, c'est pas grave, bah, drôle, t'inquiète.
T'as manqué ta chance de faire de l'arène avec un mec de 1000 abos.
T'as loupé un mec qui a 200 earnings.
Voilà, c'est ça.
1000 de Power King là, t'as loupé une grosse pépite. Hein. Quoi, en fait, il est trop chaud, Badro. Je te promets, il est trop chaud.
Arrête.
Si,
il va
si,
cheat on.
Il m'a cheat on, frère.
C'est quoi ton épique?
Il va te laver.
C'est
Hein.
Mini
Il
Sneezy.
est trop fort.
Mini Sneezy, voilà, fais pause.
Il est trop fort, Doug, le mec. Hein.
Bah alors ferme ta gueule. S'il faut tryhard pour le tuer, c'est bon, je tryhard.
Je te promets, le mec, il a vraiment des bonnes mécaniques et tout.
Bah ferme ta gueule alors.
Oh, comment il va te cheat on.
Il y a le droit, il est ou pas? Peut-être. Non, faut être modo. Faut être modo
Il
normalement.
va te cheat on.
Sinon, essaye
Il est
juste.
beaucoup trop fort, le mec.
Ah putain, mais j'arrive
Après,
pas,
il est
gros.
encore clé, mais après, il est pas ouf.
Wesh, non.
Regarde.
Non, j'abuse en fait. Non, mais j'abuse.
Voilà.
Non, mais c'est avec mon IM. Mon IM, il a un
Il nous
problème.
a ouais, pareil. Il nous a cheat on, non?
Ouais.
Ok.
Lave-toi les mains.
Mais
Bah,
toi, t'es en
lave-toi
fait
les mains,
un
notre
Solari.
Je te demandais Kim Glow. Il y a Kim Glow qui va rejoindre.
Mais lui, il faut qu'il est chez Solari. Il est trop fort.
Ah, oui, ouais.
Il a cheat on dev, par contre.
Je peux quoi?
T'as cheat on.
Par contre, là, je vais... Si, bon, là, je vais tryhard.
Bon, là, c'est bien, mais on est plus 4 dans la bonne zone.
Non, mais ça va rejoindre,
Ah oui, Shonky nous a dit de DM.
Ok, Capricorne, il voudra juste que je regarde
il fait des doublés.
ton level. Wesh. Allez, c'est bon. Ok, c'est pas les couilles.
Frère, mais Doug. Si l'autre il se ramène, c'est sûr que je peux pas.
Allez, bye bye les gars.
Wouah! Mais j'ai même pas pu prendre le pad.
What? Ah, il est là-bas. Comment il savait que j'allais casser? Vraiment un monstre mécanique. 17 likes. Ah ouais, je stresse là les gars. La sueur commence à monter.
7 likes les gars, waouh!
Non, 17 likes. Bolos.
Allez, plus de 3 likes et on voit la petite tête de Doug.
Grosse tête. Une grosse tête de melon. Ça, je t'ai dit, faudrait que je la remette à 25. Je savais que 20, ça allait être vite fait.
Oh, 19 en plus, là, je viens de like.
Non, putain.
J'avais pas like. Allez, plus qu'un like, les gars, plus qu'un like.
Non, bah voilà. En fait, là, non, faut que je fasse un
Plus
truc.
qu'un like, et là, il monte sa tête.
Attends, non, en fait, là, faut que je règle ma sensi. Faut que je règle ma sensibilité.
Ah, c'est bon, on est à 20, Doug.
On est à 23. Ah. Égal. Ah, yo, égal.
On est à 23. On est à 23.
On est à 23. Ok.
Vas-y, monte ta grosse tête.
Attendez, j'arrive juste.
T'avais dit 23
attendez.
likes.
Juste, j'arrive, attendez. Juste, j'arrive.
Bah, allez, Doug, hein. Alors, Doug, on le fait pas?
Ouais, les gars, je vais le faire. En plus, là, non, j'ai arrêté le live. Je le fais là maintenant.
Quoi?
Après, là, je vais arrêter le live. La tête pas, les gars, j'ai montré.
Non, mais t'avais dit aux 20 likes, arnaque pas.
Eh bah, justement, j'ai dit, je vais la faire. C'est bon, calme-toi. J'y vais.
Voilà.
Petite mise en bouche. Attends.
Yo, Hugo, comment ça va? Oh non, mais
Non,
toi,
je vais
tu
pas
peux
arrêter le live,
on
les
est
gars.
12 pecs,
Non, mais je
là.
vous jure, non, je vais le faire. Vas-y, c'est bon. Vous me souliez. Voilà.
C'est bon, tu montes ta tête là?
Yo, les gars. Il faudra que je me remette, il faudra que je
On
mette
la
bien
voit
la
même
cam.
pas ta tête,
Mais
mec.
faut que je mette bien la cam,
C'est
attends.
flou ta cam.
Ouais, mais justement, faut que je vais mettre ma cam, attendez. Je t'attendais. Bam. Bam.
Attends, je vais remettre le live avant là.
Bam.
Pour bien voir ta tête. Attends. What? Attends. What?
Bam. Voilà. Voilà, attendez.
En fait, t'as pas changé?
Bah, si, un peu. Mais attendez, mais en fait, là, faut bien que je la mette. Mais en fait, là, comme je l'ai pas cadré, c'est chaud. Faut que je le cadre bien. Attends. T'as combien de GB? Bah, là, j'en ai plus.
On est 14 sur live, on est 14.
Merci, les gars. Go s'abonner en
Les
masse.
gars, ça fait extrêmement plaisir parce que les gars, il a jamais atteint les 10 viewers, les gars, par live.
Ferme ta gueule. Mon record, c'est 32.
Oh non, j'ai le double du planeur.
Merci, Léane. Ouais, je vais la montrer, les gars, mais il faudrait juste que je recadre. Juste recadrer, là.
Je vais me faire chier.
Ah, merde. Sans quoi, auto craft?
D'où le dernier?
Ah, non, tu parlais. Oui. J'ai juste recadré la cam.
Je vais essayer de le no-scope.
En fait, attendez. Je vais refaire une cam parce que là. Attendez, les gars. Je vais juste refaire une cam pour bien la recadrer. Attendez. Juste, je fais ça 2 minutes pour que ça soit propre pour vous, les gars. Je sais ça pour que ça soit propre. Ouais, Tony Albert, je vais t'acheter. Pour que ça soit propre, vous inquiétez pas. Bam. On peut arrêter. Après, je vais arrêter le live. Allez là.
On est 14 sur live, tu peux pas arrêter comme ça.
Ouvre-toi. Ouvre-toi. Ta tête, oui, je vais montrer, les gars. C'est juste, bam, faut juste que ça soit bien cadré. Parce que là, attendez, je lance un autre truc.
Allez. Vas-y, tu la remontes là, ta cam?
Ouais. Juste, je la recadre. Parce que là, je suis allé sur...
Ah, parce qu'on voit pas là.
Ouais, je l'ai mal cadré. FMG Dog, peut-être. À voir dans le futur. Vraiment désolé, Waxtos, je rends pas. Voilà, attendez. Ouais. Bam, donc c'est...
Ouais, là, on monte ta tête, Dog.
Bref,
Monte
voilà.
là.
Eh bah, attends. Je vais pas le mettre, ça me casse le cou, en fait. Yal, ouais, c'est la team de quelqu'un qui a 1 million d'abonnés.
Qu'est-ce qu'il a, lui?
C'est vraiment nimp. C'est scandale, oui. De quoi viral? Ah non, c'est mort. Moi, je garde mon pseudo. De toute façon, je vais me
À
renommer.
Colis de Viral, il t'a demandé si tu pouvais te renommer Bambi et Jonathan.
Oh, mais j'abuse. Vas-y, attendez. Bah, je vais refaire. Attendez, je vais recadrer la cam. Pourquoi je peux pas la voir? Ah, voilà, c'était ça. Voilà.
Vas-y, monte ta petite tête là, Dog.
Ouais. Oui, par contre, non, il y a quelqu'un là, son micro, je sais pas c'est qui.
Dog, monte ta tête.
Ouais, c'est lui. Ouais, c'est enlevé, mettre les gars. Enlève le bois, j'ai enlevé. Ouais, c'était JL Badro. Normalement, c'est bon. C'est bon. C'est bon ou pas? Oh non, c'est bon.
Doc, monte ta tête.
Ouais, c'est bon, les gars. Tranquille, tranquille. Bam. Bam.
T'es en train de nous arnaquer là.
Ouais, attends. Bam. Bam.
What?
Mais attends, mais en fait, le problème, c'est que... Tu vois, là, il y a un truc... non, là, il y a un truc. Donc, c'est pour ça que je peux pas trop bien cadrer, parce qu'après, là, il y a ma porte. Enfin, voilà, les gars, vous avez vu, c'est bon, vous avez vu. Voilà, cassez pas la tête. C'est
Non,
moi.
vas-y, laisse-la.
Cassez pas la tête.
En fait, t'as pas changé, je trouve que t'as pas changé.
Ouais, peut-être ou peut-être pas. Merde, attendez, j'ai mis le truc Doc Size. Et je fous la merde aussi, moi.
Bon, attends, j'enlève ton truc là aussi. Pourquoi tout le monde spam FMG là dans le chat hein?
Parce que c'est sa nouvelle team. Enfin, toi, tu le sais très bien. Attendez juste 2 minutes, les gars. J'ai juste un petit truc. Voilà, je vais mettre le clavier pour l'instant. Bam, l'image. Voilà. On dirait Blazy. Peut-être que enfin, c'est sûr en fait. Ouais, c'est sûr. Go partager la chaîne, les gars, ça ferait extrêmement plaisir.
Non, partagez pas la chaîne, les gars.
On a déjà 25 likes, ah ouais, vous avez... Oh, 26. Les gars, attends, vous savez
normal,
quoi? Attends, t'es chaud, prochain défi? Au 40 likes, je fais quoi? Au 40 likes.
Je sais pas, moi.
Au 40 likes, je fais un truc, les gars. Je sais pas quoi. On sent que j'ai bientôt arrêté. C'est moi, Mini Snazy. C'est moi, les gars, Mini Snazy. Parce que voilà, je suis un Snazy maintenant. Je suis un petit Snazy. Non, je blague. Je me rename. Ça fait un peu pitié, quoi. En plus, là, les gars, faudra aussi que je prépare une vidéo en avance. Parce qu'après, je vais partir en vacances. Donc, non, je pense que ça va être... Je vais essayer d'en préparer 2, vite fait. Et comme ça, vous aurez 2 vidéos en 10 jours. Parce que après, je peux pas faire autrement, en vrai, les gars. Dites-moi, les gars, idées de vidéos que vous aimeriez regarder. Dites-moi, les gars, ce que vous voulez regarder.
Il a mis, tu prends qu'il y a un streamer sur YouTube.
En vrai, mais le problème, c'est que ça prend du temps à faire, je pense. Enfin, je peux pas le faire en une soirée, là, parce qu'après, c'est demain que je pars. Ce soir. Wesh, Zinko. N'hésite pas à liker live, à t'abonner, ça ferait extrêmement plaisir, mec.
Regarde, tu forces.
Bah, si... Attends, mais je force pas, j'ai dit ça. Si tu veux, tu peux t'abonner.
Ah, t'as dit abonne-toi et...
commence pas.
Je dis abonne-toi et like, t'as dit ça. Ça ferait extrêmement plaisir.
Jeanfils fan zone. Ouais, Jeanfils fan zone en vrai. Bah toi, Clayt. Vidéo quasi. Bah non, j'ai rien enfin, j'ai vraiment rien comme truc en quasi. Ça sert à rien. Genre, après, je sais pas si ça va vous plaire. Après, faites ce que vous voulez. Hein. Et je sais pas. Oh, Zinko, il a dit oui, commence pas toi, laisse-le, c'est sa chaîne NDR. Vidéo où tu pètes. Non mais vraiment les gars, c'est bon.
C'est pour rigoler, Zinko. Oh, les gens ont tellement pas d'humour, c'est incroyable.
Je pense qu'il a dit ça, je confirme. Je pense que je vais faire une vidéo où je pète, hein, comme il a dit. J'en veux un FMG et moi tu vas voir des vues. Pour l'instant, juste la team e-sport, elle est pas très connue. Hein. Elle est pas très connue, mais après, ouais, si tu veux, on pourra faire une vidéo comme ça. Je 1v1 un joueur de la FMG sur Fortnite. Oh my god. Je peux venir, bien sûr, Coralie Guimau. Désolé. Ou tu refais la pub. Hein? Qu'est-ce qu'il dit lui? Viral là il commence à dire des trucs chelous là.
De quoi il a dit quoi?
Non, je vais pas lire. Ça.
Il a dit quoi, Doc?
C'est bon, ça va être supprimé ça, tiens. Supprimé.
Il a dit quoi, Doc?
Supprimé, voilà, c'est bon.
Il a dit quoi, Doc?
Ah bah il a été retiré, c'est ça je préfère, Viral.
Il a dit quoi, Doc, Viral?
Il a dit, je me rappelle plus là, putain. Est-ce que tu est-ce que tu as montré ta tête là? Ouais, je l'ai montré. Mais vite fait parce qu'en fait là, les gars, je pense quand je vais revenir de vacances, j'ai vraiment tout préparé pour que ça soit nickel pour les lives. Youhou. J'ai peur hein, péter. Bah bien sûr Zinko. J'espère juste que t'es abonné. Juste pour te faire chier, je vais dire ça tout le temps. Non. On fait vraiment... En fait là, comme je suis déconcentré, je fais vraiment des fights de bot quoi, tout simplement. What? Désolé Zinko, je sais pas pourquoi. Putain. Ah putain merde. Team Clay ou Team Dog? Il y a tout le monde qui est Team Dog ici. Arrête de m'ignorer.
Et Yal, il a mis t'es toujours aussi nul, Minusthésie.
Qui a dit ça là? Eyal.
Il a mis ça, Ewal.
Ewal, c'est Eyal déjà. Toujours aussi. Ah non, tu vas voir. Ah c'est bon, allez. Allez, il est tué ce mec, c'est bon.
Oh non, à Colis Viral, il a mis Dog.
C'est bon, allez.
Pourquoi?
Bah, je vais mettre ma vraie 106, c'est bon, t'es mort. Bon, tu vas retirer ce que tu vas dire. Tout de suite, je te le dis. T'as Insta? Ouais. Non, par contre, juste les gars, arrêtez d'insulter, please. Supprimez le message, les gars, supprimez le message. Les modos, please, quand il y a une insulte, supprimez direct. Enfin, il n'y a qu'un modo, mais bon.
Attends, est-ce qu'il y a des dislikes? Ah non, zéro.
Mais t'as souci, ouais, j'ai mis ma sensi.
Il a mis clé au 30 likes, tu te rename baby clé.
Vas-y, non, au 40 les gars, au 40. Ouais, quoi, Viral? C'est quoi ton épique? Mini Snazy. M majuscule et S majuscule. Après cette saison, les gars, j'arrive juste à un truc. Enfin, 2 minutes, vous voulez juste 2 minutes AFK.
Léane Gilbert, il a mis tu pues.
Ok.
Attends, mais Léane Gilbert, elle arrête pas de spammer tu pues.
Mais bannez-la, les gars. Wesh, les modos, vous faites quoi là? Cassez la tête là. Eh, je vais recruter des autres modos là. C'est comment?
Clé, il a mis Léane, t'aimes pas beaucoup Dog.
Ouais, je pense, c'est ça, hein, parce que là, c'est chaud là. Non, oh putain. Ah, j'ai peur. Non. Putain, oh là, c'est insane.
Il y a 11 personnes sur le live et on est 4 dans la bovine zone. Il faut le faire quand même.
Ouais.
Léane Gilbert et toi, tu sens la vente. Peut-être t'es qui?
Oh, venez, j'en peux plus, les gars, j'en peux plus de vous. J'arrive, je vous accepte juste en ami. Mon bisou. Ah non, mais non, c'est toi. Attends.
Et après, il a mis regarde ta tête de madame, monsieur Bouillèche.
Attendez,
Madame
j'arrive, les gars.
Bouillèche.
J'arrive, 2 minutes. Les gars. Toujours un shoot de
Et
poney,
moi,
ouais,
il
c'est
a
vrai.
mis t'as toujours un shoot de poney.
Le Monster City, ouais.
Là, j'ai tout donné.
Mais c'est vrai, attends. C'est normal, attends. Là, c'est normal, les gars. C'est normal, là, tu dis j'ai un shoot de poney, mais j'ai pas mis ma vraie sensi. Ça, c'est ma vraie sensi. Voilà. Je les mets un peu au hasard, tu vois, pour voir un peu. Tu peux m'ajouter Phoenix. Ouais, je vais t'ajouter. Ouais, je sais pas, il peut te faire.
On les rejoignit là, les viewers, là, on est tu dans la bobine zone.
Ah ouais, merde, attends, juste par contre.
Oh, je suis pas mort.
Oui, moi je stun. T'as créé ta team mini. Yo, yo, Kriria. Ça va?
Bien, toi?
Bien. T'es introuvable. Zinko.
Ouais.
Moi, les plus trop dans la bovine zone, là, ce serait bien que des gens
Non,
rejoignent.
4.
Ah oui, avec toi.
Ouais. Je bug de fou. Hein. Je bug de fou et j'ai 30 FPS.
Ah, qu'est-ce que c'est dommage ça.
Et voilà, il a mis t'as créé ta team mini.
Non, j'ai pas créé ma team. Je recherche des teams e-sport le cause. J'ai fait sur.
Ah ouais, comme la Familia Stream.
J'ai fait ma candidature sur Discord de The Vic. Faudra, j'ai dit juste, faudra juste que je retrouve ma sensi. Après c'est bon. Après je suis un monstre. Je défonce quand je veux. Égal, il sait pas jouer. J'ai dit ça. Donc après. Non, merci. Ils m'ont dit ah bien sûr si tu défonces Pulco c'est bon. Yo, Yolan.
Oh, mais Doc, il veut vraiment que. En créa, c'est vraiment. Oh.
33 blancs.
Ouais, je vous ai dit que je buguais et tout, et vous savez.
Vraiment trop nul ce mec. Hein.
Ah, t'es trop nul, Doc.
C'est quoi ton épique? Minus Maisy.
Au 30 likes, tu fais quoi, Doc?
On a déjà les 30 likes. Et aux 40 likes, je me rename. Je mets un hashtag dans le chat. C'est le premier qui met le hashtag parfaitement. Donc il y aura les PC qui vont être avantagés. Je me rename Baby avec son prénom.
Baby clé?
Non, genre, imagine, genre par exemple, je mets un hashtag quand il y a les 40 likes. Et genre, imagine s'il est. Si, genre, c'est par exemple, genre, toi qui mets un hashtag que je vais mettre dans le chat qui va aller plus vite, genre que tu vas aller plus vite que les autres, bah je vais mettre. Tu vas être le premier à écrire. Je vais te mettre bah, hashtag avec ton compte Google.
Et
hashtag
il a mis
baby,
t'es trop nul, tu sais.
Tu m'as compris quoi. Ah, voilà, c'est bon. Chut, c'est pas
Et
grave.
il a mis, et voilà, t'es trop nul, chut, c'est pas grave. Donc...
Ah ouais, c'est ça, Zingo. Non mais.
Mais il a mis ça, Ewal.
égal,
Ouais, non,
mais faut le laisser. Faut le
Juste
laisser.
qu'il aille fermer sa gueule, on s'en fout. Même si t'es nul, t'es pas obligé de venir dire t'es nul, t'es nul.
T'as vu? Non mais ce mec il est bizarre, hein. Ce mec il est vraiment bizarre. Hein. Ce
Et
mec,
Wall.
Mais c'est surtout le mec qui vient de dire t'es nul, t'es nul.
T'as vu? T'as vu? T'as vu?
Bah, qui
T'as
vient
vu,
de
t'as
prendre
vu
un avis un dog. Hein.
T'as
On
vu?
va voir.
Vas-y, vas-y, viens, mais il est en vacances, c'est ça le problème.
Ah, vas-y, dis-lui qu'il vient dans le créa et tu vas faire un
Il est en
avis
vacances,
contre
il est en
lui.
vacances, il est en vacances.
Il est en vacances, c'est Wall.
Et égal déjà, c'est. Mais voilà, non mais genre s'il y a 40 likes, je le fais les gars. Genre même si vous êtes pas abonné, je pourrais le faire.
Bah, au pire, tu te renverses un seau d'eau sur la tête.
Non,
pas
gros,
ça.
non, gros, non, c'est mort.
Allez, tu te renverses un seau d'eau. C'est pas...
Après, la drogue, c'est bien. T'es au courant.
Ouais, voilà, c'est ça.
T'as dit quoi?
La drogue, c'est pas bien.
La quoi?
La drogue, c'est pas
La
bien.
drogue.
Mais j'ai pas dit la drogue, j'ai dit tu te mets un seau d'eau sur la tête.
Laisse tomber, vraiment, non, laisse tomber, c'est chaud là.
J'ai pas compris. C'est pas grave.
Bah voilà, c'est juste pour aller voir les likes. Bah, combien de likes? On a combien de likes? On a 31. Les gars, tu sais qu'on peut le faire. Hein. 9 likes, ça peut aller vite. Attends, je vais mettre quoi? Je vais mettre... mon tata STP Nitrox 2.0, je l'ai fait avant. Donc si tu veux, tu peux aller avant. Je vais mettre aux 40 likes. Je fais quoi?
Prends toi.
Aux 40
Comment
likes?
Non, mais j'ai mis un matelas alors.
Mais comment t'as fait?
Ah, c'est Pulco.
Bah oui. Je me
Ah, je savais pas
name
que c'était Pulco.
Mais les gars, à chaque fois que je prends une arme, en fait, ça me met un stuff
pseudo.
mais
Voilà.
complètement pas le même.
Je me name ton pseudo même. Je sais que c'est pas vraiment très français, mais je savais pas trop dire autrement. Donc ouais les gars. Après si on atteint les 40 likes, j'arrête le live normalement. Parce qu'après je dois les prendre.
C'est vrai?
Ouais, et ensuite tu m'offres la batte de baseball.
Complètement putaclic. Allez, si tu veux. Je te rappelle que il y a
Oh,
tout le monde
t'as
qui
le
me demandait
Je t'ai mis un
de
autre
montrer ma tête. Donc comment te dire que pour une fois
Ouais,
que je montre
c'est
ma
ça.
tête, voilà.
pour de vrai. Hein.
Donc avant que tu viennes pour dire que c'est du putaclic, faut juste connaître ma chaîne un peu, tu vois.
What, je bug.
Je viens voir la box.
Ah par contre là j'abuse moi.
Oh
Voilà,
non,
je-
je suis plein carrément.
Ne,
Là, je bug de fou.
je vais t'ajouter.
Et toi tu me tues à peine là où je joue. Non mais laissez-moi,
Mais
les
pourquoi
gars, regardez, je bug. Ah non regarde, il y a l'autre connard de Zouzou, je sais pas quoi. Ah non même pas. C'est des buissons. Laisse-moi au moins prendre ma popo.
Mais je te laisse prendre ta popo hein, au moins.
Laisse-lui prendre son biberon. Et il va pleurer.
What? Mais gars, mais...
Mais gars, mais
Mais il est
gars.
trop nul, Zouz. Et Zouz, c'est qui?
C'est un abo.
Et il est là pour troller? Comment ça se passe?
Non, je vais pas faire de la rentrée. En plus, bientôt, je vais bientôt arrêter là.
Je vais bientôt devenir l'un de tes trios.
Ouais, peut-être. Non, duo, on a dit duo, on a dit duo. C'est même pas sûr. Faut juste que tu sois bon.
Mais toi, t'es un joueur téléphone, Créa.
Ah mais je vais passer PC.
Ah, ok.
Comment j'ai mangé le stuff, pardon. Les gars, vous mettez pas les likes, hein. Je pense que je vais arrêter le live. Hein. Parce que quand je vais arrêter le live, on pourra plus faire le truc du hashtag. Vas-y les gars, en fait, vas-y, je vais descendre à 35 parce que j'ai envie de le faire en fait. Moi j'ai tellement envie de le faire. Là. À 35 les gars, je le fais à 35.
Ah, mais qu'est-ce qu'il a, lui, avec les Oscars?
Bah on a le talent ou on l'a pas. Hein.
Oh là là, chiton. Yo, je viens de venir. Bah ok. Yo, Jean-Marc, du gros fillon. Du gros fillon. Oui, fillon. Salut Bruno, n'hésite pas à liker live. Et Naïma aussi. Et t'abonner aussi. Et aussi Jean-Marc. Voilà, c'est dit, c'est fait.
Ah, parce que les gars, ça fait 1 mois qu'il a les 1000 abonnés, il a augmenté 10 abonnés. Alors les gars, il a besoin un petit peu de gratter des abonnés.
Mais ferme ta bouche, gros. Est-ce que tu sais un peu de ma vie, genre... Enfin, un peu, ouais. Tu sais
Attends,
un
il est où?
Oh là là, Zouz you shitten. Vas-y, moi j'ai bientôt arrêté les gars. Mettez les 35 likes, après j'arrête le live. Ou si vous les avez pas mis les gars, c'est pas grave. Ouais, j'ai bientôt arrêté là, c'est bon. Les gars, attends, il est quelle heure? Il est 29. À 35 j'arrête.
Mais j'ai plus d'acheter, il me spam. C'est bon, calme-toi.
Et là, tu joues manette téléphone, Cria?
Non.
Tu joues téléphone complètement?
Ah ouais, il était complètement. Il est grave chaud. Hein. À ce qui paraît, c'est le Rubik's Cube qui a fait ses doigts des voitures.
Oh shit.
Bah, il y a 38 likes.
Elle existe.
Ah ouais, déjà 38 likes. Ah ouais, d'accord. Vous gérez les gars. Ah bah, c'est bon.
Oh,
Je vais mettre un
la
hashtag, les
cloche,
gars. Je vais mettre un
la batte de
hashtag.
baseball.
Comment?
On va offrir la batte de baseball.
Non, j'ai pas assez. Bah, je vais le faire, les gars.
Attends, t'es sûr?
Je vais mettre un hashtag. Je vais mettre un hashtag, les gars. Faudra le premier à le mettre. Attends, déjà, j'ajoute Zinko. Parce qu'il m'a demandé. Bam, Zinko, c'est envoyé normalement. Ah bah, t'es introuvable. Merde. Bon, allez, je vais mettre un hashtag, les gars. Faudra être le premier à le mettre. Voilà, c'est fait. Bam, je vais le mettre. Juste regardez. Ah, je vais couper la cam, comme ça vous allez pas voir. Bam, on va couper la cam. Voilà. Vous êtes pas prêts, les gars. C'est très facile. Hein. C'est très facile. Faudra être prêt. Hein. Dites-moi, les gars, quand vous êtes tous prêts. Vous êtes tout prêts à taper vite sur votre petit clavier ou sur votre petit téléphone. Vous me dites, les gars. Vous me dites si vous êtes prêts. Prêt, ok. Déjà, celui du viral qui est prêt. Prêt, ok. Bah, ça va y aller, les gars. Il y a juste Eyal qui doit dire qu'il est prêt. Eyal, dis que t'es prêt. Comme ça va y aller, les gars. Les gars aussi, Kyria, tu peux participer. Hein.
Oh, flemme.
Prêt, ok, Fuze. Les gars, likez, go vous abonnez. On y va, c'est parti. Allez.
Et arrête de forcer les
Bam.
gens.
Tais-toi. Parce que c'est fait exprès.
Gars, il a un rocket.
Ouais, non, mais c'est pas grave. Parce que là, je vais faire.
Mais il est tellement con.
Ah,
Ah,
t'es
ça fait
vraiment
exprès, j'ai
nul.
pas fait exprès, j'ai oublié
Ouais,
m'avancer.
c'est ça. Vous êtes prêts, les gars? Allez, c'est parti. Je vais balancer le petit hashtag. Je vais voir le premier qui va le mettre. Il va être très long, le hashtag. Hein.
Ah, vous faites copier-coller, hein, cassez pas les couilles.
Bah, peut-être ça sera ceux qui sont comment? Bam, ceux qui sont clavier ouais, ceux qui sont en clavier qui vont aller plus rapidement. Bam.
Ah, mais
Attendez, les gars.
Si quelqu'un le veut.
Je vais le mettre bientôt. Allez,
Comment on fait
là.
pour charger
Mais
un
le
peu
chat,
ça,
là. Vas-y, il veut pas se...
Hein, les gars? Comment on fait pour charger?
Attends plus longtemps dessus.
Mais il veut pas se charger.
Oui, regarde.
Toi, tu veux
Ouais,
pas
je sais
charger.
pas
Ah, c'est
comment
bon,
on fait.
voilà. C'est bon, je vais le
Alors
mettre, les gars. Attendez. Voilà, c'est bon.
Mais
Alors,
attends, mais gars,
bam.
mais
Je
c'est
vais
vraiment un
mettre...
gros fils de pute.
Ouais, oh, calme-toi, wow. Calme,
Moi, je lui demande
calme.
le mec, il me tire du...
Bam, c'est bon,
c'est
bam.
drôle.
Eh, désolé, mec.
Désolé de quoi? Ah mince, j'ai pas fait exprès de te tuer.
Désolé, non, j'ai cru que t'étais en train de jouer. Parce que tout le monde s'est chargé un peu pas
C'est
cher.
bon, vous êtes prêts? 3, 2, 1, let's go. C'est bon, c'est lancé, les gars, c'est lancé. Je veux voir, c'est qui le meilleur. Je veux le voir. Et c'est... J'attends toujours, Ah bah, Yann qui a pas compris. Voilà, c'est bon, voilà, c'est Zinko. C'est Zinko. Eh, vraiment, les gars, mais... Eyal, t'as rien compris, Non, c'est bon. Je peux pas expliquer mieux, gros, les gars, c'est... Égal, c'est bon. Bah, c'est Zinko, hein. J'espère que tu seras actif, hein, Zinko, parce que j'ai quand même une rename. Mais en plus, le problème, là, faudrait
Moi,
que...
quand je t'ai mis.
Bah, je t'ai dit de mettre... En fait, j'ai mis un hashtag et il faudra le... J'avais dit de le réécrire sur le chat. T'as pas compris, en fait.
Le mec qui a fait ça, il gagne quoi, en fait?
Bah, que je mette... comment? Que je mette... Baby Zinko. Voilà, simplement. On m'a demandé de faire ça, donc c'est parti. Quoi? Bah, c'est ce que je t'ai dit. Enfin, c'est ce que j'ai dit. Tout le monde a compris sauf toi. Hein. C'est chaud, ça devient chaud là.
Kill sur la tardée qui a pas compris.
Franchement, là, faut. Heureusement qu'il y a bientôt la rentrée, hein, parce que là, ton cerveau, ça se voit, il a pas été beaucoup utilisé pendant les vacances. Hein. Enfin, je parle, mais moi aussi. Hein. Tu peux m'appeler? « 3, 2, 1, 3, 6, bam. Bam, 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 bam. » Vas-y les gars, je vais arrêter le live. Et si tu veux, je pense que tu voulais dire, tu peux m'ajouter. Si tu veux, je vais t'ajouter après. Non, par contre là, vas-y les gars. Je me désabonne. Arrêtez. Enfin, arrête. Ça y est, non mais vraiment, non, c'est bon, tirageux là. C'est vraiment tirageux.
C'est ton petit rageux à toi.
Ouais, je vais appeler le petit rageux maintenant. Vas-y les gars, bah je vous laisse. Hein. Non, une nouvelle vidéo peut-être ce soir. Et il y en aura 2 qui va sortir pendant la semaine. Je vais être en vacances.
Toi aussi, il faut te
Ouais, voilà, c'est ça aussi. En même temps, c'est pour ça que j'ai dit moi aussi, tu vois. Donc voilà. Donc vas-y les gars, je vous laisse. Nom de quoi? Ryan défilé. T'es mort. Mais de quoi les gars? Vas-y les gars, je vous laisse.
Okay.
Bonnes vacances à vous et peace les potes. Et abonnez-vous. Je suis le pire, vas-y, peace les potes. Ah, et aussi les gars, pour le baby... Attends. Regardez les gars, je pourrais pas... Attends, je pourrais pas changer. Très putain... Ouais, si tu veux... Glacé. Regarde, attendez, je vais te montrer. Bam. Je peux pas. Regarde, tiens. Bam. Capture de l'écran. Je te montre que je peux.
Ça dit tu m'aides à montrer
juste
nos
attends.
pompes à charge.
Regarde. Bam. Ah, attends. Juste attends. Bam. What? Je peux pas me gérer mon compte. Ah si, c'est bon.
Et où?
Bah moi attends, moi j'arrête. Bah je vais te montrer, regarde. En fait ça fait... je l'ai changé hier. Mon pseudo, ou avant-hier. Donc regarde. Je vais pas te montrer que c'est du fake.
Dans quelle map?
Bah regarde.
Doc 10.
Voilà, le 12.
Et
le 26 je vais le changer les gars, le 26. Faudrait juste que tu me fasses retenir que... juste fasse retenir que... Bah que faudrait que je le que je le mette. Donc c'est pour ça que... Non, dans ton YouTube. Ah, dans ton YouTube. Ah, ça va être un peu chaud là.
C'est toujours en live.
Ouais. Ah les gars, c'est... Ah ouais, YouTube, ça va être chaud. Hein. On va te dire que... Ouais, non, pas YouTube. Hein. Ouais, non, pas YouTube. Oh non, je suis toujours en live. Mais là, après, j'arrête là. Je pourrais pas YouTube. Hein. Sauf mon autre compte que j'utilise plus. Si tu veux. Et là, voilà. Donc, dans une semaine...
En ce moment.
Ouais. Attends, je vais juste regarder. Attends. En vrai, je suis dégoûté.
T'as combien de V-Bucks?
J'en ai 0. J'ai tout utilisé.
Putain.
De quoi non les gars? Bah à un moment ou un autre les gars faudrait que j'arrête. Je vais aller prendre ma douche et tout donc je vais arrêter après. Regardez juste. Bam, je vous montre juste. Regardez. Sinon les gars je vous laisse un peu les FNCS. Comme ça après j'arrive les gars. Je vous laisse un peu les FNCS et bah toutes les gars.
A plus les pigeons.
Donc je vous mets les FNCS, je vais prendre ma douche et à un moment bah, je vous dirai quand je vais arrêter le live. Donc voilà les gars. À toutes peut-être quand je vais vous dire si vous restez, je vais modifier mon titre en FNCS les gars. Voilà.
If he wants to win the game, I think he needs this fight. 6 rockets with a shockwave launcher, not enough to really control an entire lobby of top tier players. Drop down into his box is gonna be Maestro, and he gets completely silenced. An orchestra taken out instantly. Fuze is the one to be able to have now more rockets, hopefully, a little bit of shields to choose from, but points, the most important thing to gain and try to get top 50, top 25 here today.
That was Mongrel firing upon Noah Riley, who's leaving early on the south side. They need to as it continues to pull north. He's going to have the current with him. I think now all the different players have escaped in different directions, but more fire coming up from behind. Another player right on this hill. Thankfully, he'll break line of sight one more time. He might be able to take this all the way down, and I think he will. And Noah needs this game. This is a player who you saw game 1 get taken out by Letwick. Game 2, he had a good performance up in the top 20. That's why he's at 10 points. But that's not really enough to get up in that top 10, get up in that top 25. He's right on the outside looking in at this case. This is the game he needs to catch up back to pace. Same thing with Moki on the backside, rotating in parallel with them. And all these guys, I mean, we've seen them in parallel paths game after game so far because the zone continues to pull up north. So difficult for the players on the south side, but they're still making it work no matter what. The goal of the game is to minimize the risk of how these zones pull in different directions. You have to leave early. You have to be gathering enough materials to be able to survive through, getting the mobility, looting enough, and all of that compounds into positions like this, where no matter what the zone goes, you still have a chance to earn points.
But that's the story for everyone. There's 40 players right now. We're so close and tied to these slots. Noah Riley gets in there and takes out Jamside, someone just slightly above him in the standings, and gets a little bit of breathing room, but still, 11 points. He's basically in the same range as 40 other people right now. And he has to just try to break away this game. Everyone is so close in these standings. Rekt and Light side by side in the game, though. Rekt is held up by just 1 ramp. I think Light is trying to take it out. There it is. Will be able to find the shot right after, though, is the question. Takes out his pyramid last second. Really creative there in case he's going to drop in the box. I think, once again, he's only held up by just 1 wall. So Light can't shoot him out. Going for the shots, too. Rekt is kind of in trouble because not only is he taking this fire from Light, these builds keep getting rebuilt. There it is, the drop down. Everyone else can see him, too. He has no options to stay alive and move up. Forced to come down. Light knows that, and easily pick up for him.
I'm surprised, though, not to see everybody start to fire upon Light as he gets that elim, but thankfully that whole fight for him was contained down low with fully built brick. Now Fuze, another one. Time and time again, he's finding himself in fights on the side, but he makes it work one more time. And there it is, now up to 9 rockets for that shockwave launcher. And you talked about how important it was for him to start taking the fights and actually getting something out of them, and he's done it again. So now, not only floppers, not only crash pads, but also the shockwave launcher. Yes, he's going to use those to really get his way in the zone. That's 2, and he's basically there into the 4th zone, into the edge. Pays a little bit for it, and he doesn't have shield, so he can't take much more damage. This is where he needs to spend a little to get a little bit more space.
Get a lot, because he's still not in zone yet. He needs to keep moving. I was going to say drop that 3rd crash pad, really invest, because everything else is looking so good, as you said. It's about staying low-key now, though. It's not going to be possible, because he has to switch boxes. And although that shockwave launcher is there, and we're recommending that he use these mats, he's running out of those materials too, so he has to find a way to be cost efficient but use a lot and use more. Paradox there for Fuze, but I feel like he can figure it out. On the other side is Croce, who's leading the fray overall on people in these boxes. They're so congested, though. That gives you opportunities for still box dives, even around people, completely isolated. Blackie there on the backside. There's a bush blocking him and his vision, but it doesn't matter. He can feel exactly where Belvid is. Hits that shot. Very nice from him. Look at this. More crash pads, and he just had 1 left. So using one to box dive gives him more to rotate for the end of the game. Above him, though, is Noah Riley, who we know is just about at 11 points. He needs to rise way high, but he's going to be fighting people like Vite, who've controlled height before, and Alex. Oh my god, 1 HP, and Eternal's there with him too. Gets taken out in a final box fight. It is so scary to be in any of these builds. It's Mongrel who's hunting these players down.
Arnold down on low ground, a lot of space for him too. Look at the distance. He's tunneled that all the way. Oh, gotta be careful.
Oh.
Whenever you go for these impacts, the loot that's dropped, you got to be careful of other players taking over control of your old builds, and that's exactly what happens. Thankfully, he still has that shield potion to get back into it, and a lot of materials. Mongrel is working very well in this zone. 2 crash pads and launch pad 2, plus the peppers. He'll be fine for this.
This is a zone you have to be very careful working, though. You're taking box fights before that half and half. It means that everyone else is rotating around you, and you're not looking at the new bases being built. You're not thinking about where you want to be ultimately. Popping a pepper to catch up with speed, catch up in time. He is moving so fast past everyone's builds, hyper building basically over everyone. An elimination right in front of him. He doesn't get the actual mats from it, but he does get the positioning over top the box, and he's moving straight off and away. Oh my god, center zone completely for Mongrel.
And look at the difference in height that he had from that 4th zone spot where 5th zone was revealed. Now he's up there. Now he can actually play the game against other people. Those consumables, the pepper really the only useful one outside of the early game now in solos. And is doing so well here for Season 3. Mongrel getting in. Does get overtaken by a couple of players, so that high ground position not going to be a factor for him. Down low, Noah Riley has made it, and so has Moki. Noah with 13 points. Again, this is the game. This is the turning point. As we get past game 3, we still got 6, it's total 6 games. So if you get past game 3 and you're in contention, it's time now to start talking about Noah Riley not only pushing up towards the top 5, but also qualifying through and potentially having another duel against Benji Fishy tomorrow in the grand finals.
Everyone who's alive right now has an opportunity for this zone. It's pulled back towards them. There's an empty side on the right, and now it doesn't matter because the zone is going left. Noah Riley has control, but so does Stone, so does Hijo, Nebi, Swaps, everyone here. An equal chance to have a base, have some footing, and get some eliminations in endgame.
Wondering too where Janice is, the current player in first place, because there's so many competitors right now. Micho in the endgame, he picks up 1 as 6th zone begins to move. Noah Riley also going to use a launch pad forward. He's getting way close to that 6th zone. There's a lot of players already starting to tunnel forward. Who is he going to land on? Who is the choice? And where does he put himself? That layer that he picks is so important, and we are in 6th zone now. Looking back, potentially another Elim. There's a crash pad player. Yes, he goes down to zone. Noah converts on the Elim. Now in the top 38. Mongrel has also found one too. So all the players that we were watching, they are activating in good time.
This is Noah Riley's game. I can feel it 100% all the way above so many people's builds. Crash padding, but not hitting the ground. Taking over height. Is that Toos? It's Toos. It's Toos. The man with the shockwave launcher. The man with the loot that wins games and makes moments happen. Noah didn't actually get it, though.
He didn't get the shockwave launcher. So holding the height now. Okay. The AR. No fire, no ADS at all on that one, just jumping and spraying. He's going to do it again, potentially gets more, but I think that shockwave launcher might have been picked up from somebody else. Nobody leaves that in the zone if they can, and he gets another big tag with Kit's charge. It's not going to be enough, though. He doesn't take him out just yet.
He doesn't need it. From what I'm watching, he does not need that shockwave launcher. So many heavy tags from Kit's charge shotgun. So much accuracy from this AR, and he gets 1 elimination stolen away from him, but has the match to keep holding height. 7th zone, 2 more zones left. When that 9th one comes around, it closes down to nothing. That's where things start to get really scary for people. Noah, though, is not shaking under that pressure. Has height. I think just maybe wood left. Still going for sprays, has so much ammo to use. Dietrich's, Hijo, K2, taking out people in the low ground. Everyone is so close in these standings. They're trying to make a name for themselves, trying to get all the way up. Noah there with a big beam. There it is. On to Juke. He goes down. Noah gets a few more crash pads. He has rotation. Might not be the shockwave launcher, but it might just be enough.
But it's Mongrel on the second height. He's going to start dueling for this too. Noah Riley going to try to eclipse the record he put for himself with the 7 elim game and the 8 elim game back-to-back on day number 2. Who is it? In zone, there's Mongrel. He's going to start to take the height, but blocked by a stare. Noah now has to contest. Oh, and he takes him out. The quick block, and Noah Riley takes down Mongrel. Still more to find, but he's looking down and looking so good. Another play out the sky. Yes! A 9th elim, potentially looking for 11 in this end game. 2 more players to find, and where are they? They fall to low ground. Crash pad breaks everything. There's a tree in the way, and that just gives room for Noah to breathe.
He is growing so big here at this European Solos FNCS competition. Game number 3, Noah wrapping things up. 2 people fighting all the way in the zone, but it's not enough. Noah, double digits. Clean win, tactical, amazing. Can he do it all? Absolutely he can, with a huge win to follow up to.
Absolutely ridiculous. Noah Riley, are you kidding me with that performance? The win and 11 eliminations. What more could you ask for going into the second half? That's where we're looking right now. Game 4 is coming up next. But before that, we need to see where we stand in the standings and also give some room for the analysts to break it down.
Noah, you're just out here dropping 25-point games like that? 11 elimination VRs? What in the world is happening? I mean, guys, we are halfway through just this first heat on the day, and Noah Riley out here really doing this to us. He's just leaving it like that. What's going on, Sundown? What's happening?
I mean, we've talked about it before. We talked about seeing his high-end potential and when he gets rolling, what he's capable of. A little bit slow before that, only had a combined 8 points, but then rolled out there at the end. And when he gets going, when he starts taking those engagements, we've seen before, backside of the zone, kind of getting towards that circle 6, circle 7 in the full moving, he is able to put in work. And he eliminated pretty much the rest of the lobby there and secured himself a spot in grand finals with that performance.
Not only that, I just want to say hats off to Mongrel. We were talking about how many points you needed on the lead up, right? And how far 8 points could be to secure, but he does it. He pulls through. He did enough to make it through the end game, and that's why he's in first place here, Zeke.
Dude, holding strong so much. This is like the craziest back and forth. We've seen a massive change up in the leaderboard across the last 3 games, but look, Jen is still there. The person who won the first game on the day, Esty, still there. Now Floki is looking as well. Reason coming out of nowhere. Downsuke gets dropped. I mean, boys, this is still so close. Look, Sundown, Wolfie's dropping all the way to 13th.
Wolfie's dropping down there, but still on pace. We kind of talked about making sure you want to be right around 15, 16 points right now. So all these players clear of that top 25. You can see Kredges, Juker, Toos, Nebby, Cartoon, and Rotary rounding out the top 20. But once we start looking into the back half, it starts talking about who's already hit that threshold, who's kind of hit the 32, 33-point mark, and has secured themselves a spot. Mongrel, Noah, and Janice have effectively now locked up 3 of the spots. So now you're looking at 22 spots for the rest of the players to battle over. And as we get onto this next page, it's going to be a big competition. As you can see, 15 is currently the line, both Andelix and Surprise sitting right there. Andelix owning the slight advantage. Carmi also on that line of exactly 4 eliminations and 15 points, but still 3 matches of Fortnite to be played. Tons of opportunities for people to seize the moment and get their way into that top 25.
And just to round it all back and talk about, you know, players that need to secure that point threshold. SC in top 5, he's stuck there. He's been at 26 points for the last 2 or so rounds. He's barely moved now. So that is how close it's getting. Someone who is also just kind of freezing up here in the leaderboard. It's Smokey right now, only at 14 points. He did manage to gather, I think, about 3 in that last round. No elims, but some placements. So you're going to need a little bit more now. We're talking about middling in the competition and kind of fizzling out here. This is a close competition, but it's the halfway mark. It's time to use this quick break and then come back strong and hopefully pull through and get another monstrous game in her favor. That way we can see him in the top 25.
She's only 1 point out, right? And if we're talking just hitting high placement, finding a handful of eliminations, she could very well qualify. That's what you like to see. The top have cemented themselves, as Sundown did mention. Now, of course, guys, we've got all the action happening here at EU, but what's going on over in NA East? Let's take a look together as Sundown and MDF break it down for us. Let's hit it, boys.
Yeah, so with European Heat number 3 halfway done, so is Heat number 4, excuse me, NA East Heat number 3 underway, and you can see Bully picking up a clutch elimination there. He's been pushing himself forward. 3 elims on the day. He was able to secure the first victory royale, largely thanks to that glider grapple gun, giving him some more movement and allowing him priority edge on the zone. You can see landing in the water there, and the other player opting to just try and outlast him. That was Durant getting taken down, but Accept has also had a pretty solid day, Monster.
Oh, he's going, man. This is a name we haven't seen much of. So NA East has been the mix-up, the shake-up of new and old, and I mean really old coming back. We'll see what other names we're talking about as I allude to that, but take a look at Accept, man. Really tearing up the field right now. He's going to be just shy of 20 points and continuing to rack his way up towards qualifying his way towards Grand Finals Sunday. And I mean, he's on par to do it here. Just look at the frag, the chain of elims that he's catching here. This is what's capable of players this far. And talk about players that are old, and I'm talking Loonies, man. This is as old school as it gets. The earliest days of Fortnite, back in the World Cup days, of course, the World Cup qualifier himself, still proving that even after breaking, come back and continue to be at the top. This is incredible. It's almost admirable to show how good players like Loonies are.
Yeah, and he's been working his way back up, saying he really wants to qualify and putting in the effort, taking away the game there, but going to need to keep on pace as we hop on board with our current leader after 3 games in NA East Heat number 3 is Lem. And you can see he's been doing it through a mix of both flopper gameplay and just good execution in the mid and late game. He's not necessarily looking to take these early game fights. He's very rarely coming into the late game with 3 and 4 eliminations, but he's very good at finding rotations and putting himself in spots to take advantage. And he's basically now at 33 points after 3 games, secured himself the qualification.
And all these elims, you're seeing him fight on the back foot, either back against the wall or coming up from the low ground. And finally, you see what he can do with height. He's just going to hold it, keep a textbook, walk through the player, and just like that, he gets the best over Uzi. Just a quick look at your final standings right now as they're standing out here after 3 games, though. Just give you guys an idea of what NA East is looking like.
Man, so much action happening across the board. We have NA East later, and then tomorrow, another day full of Fortnite, where an FNCS champion will be crowned. It is all coming down to this, with only 3 games left to play. Who will find themselves the final spots available on the battle bus and be taken into grand finals tomorrow? So much action. With that being said, Fortnite fan, we need to cool down, so we're going to step away. When we return, we'll have the final 3 games from the Fortnite Champions Series here in Europe. Stay tuned.
We're going eventually, we swear.
What's going on, Fortnite fam? Welcome back to the Fortnite Champion Series. We are here halfway through EU in the final heat before Grand Finals. I'm your host, Zeke, and joining us here on the analyst desk, we got Sundown and we got Monster D-Face. Gents, these first set of games have been incredible. And now with only 3 games left, EU is showing us anyone can take a game.
Yeah, anyone can take a game. I mean, you saw Mongrel do it to kick things off as a catalyst up to the top. He's managed to secure his way through. That's going to be a big name coming into Grand Finals. So now we're seeing some of the best solidify themselves there. And we saw a few others, players like Noah as well. So Grand Finals roster shaping out to be one of the best for EU in the way we want to see it.
That's right, man. That's right. Now, of course, we can't forget about someone like Moki, right? Hanging in there on the edge. Can she make it into top 25? Because, again, that's the line. Making it to the top 25, heading on to Grand Finals. 75 of these big players will not make it. We'll have to see how things go. With that being said, let's get ready to set it into the next game. So we'll set it over to BallaTW and Shy Wager to get us into the game.
That's right. Out of 175 won't make it, so it's up to that top 25. It's up to see who can be the last qualifiers from Europe. This is game number 4 tuning in. I'm Shy Wager, joined by BallaTW, already into this game a little bit, and things have already gotten spicy.
That they have already 17 players have fallen. That means potentially some of the big names might have already fallen. We'll obviously get updates when we can, but regardless, right now, we're quickly into this one. Game 4 out of 6, and there's an Elim. Wolfie is clapping back from the very unfortunate performance that he had in game number 3, but also potentially could have shifted gears. You already saw him getting a little aggressive, and that's always been the issue for him. Starting strong and then ending flat because he plays too aggressive.
And it's kind of going to be, or it's 100% going to be balanced for everyone now. Looking at how your first 3 games went, comparing them to the last 4, 5, and 6. For Janice, for Noah Riley, they've been playing so well. They're 2nd and 3rd place, respectively, right now. Janice, though, has had some trouble off spawn here and there. Maybe missed out on that first game or missed out on a little bit of a game afterwards. So he needs to just clinch up and get first place in another game again. Hold that number 1 spot, because you got to remember, this man was an FNCS Solos Invitational winner.
But again, he was so hungry for the actual FNCS win, and this is his opportunity. He goes in, gets the Elim, perfectly played. And there you go, Janice back at it again. He fell earlier on in game number 3, but now he's clapping back. He's about even with Noah Riley. Marvel's kind of taking the lead.
He's the captain, basically, I would say, for Wave Esports, who has 12 players competing today in just this weekend, or in this weekend in general, all across 4 heats. I'm curious to see how many of them will make those grand finals.
They've had such success over the last couple of months, specifically at all the different dream hacks. And then the breakout performance, I think, was for sure Janice in the Invitational, ending up winning that one through. But they also have quite a lot of players, and they show up strong every time throughout the FNCS and grand finals. See if that continues. Mitro, right now, he's certainly on the outside looking in. 13 points right now. That is not the pace that you want to be on. You definitely want to be slightly ahead of that. He's around the same part as Moki and whatnot. 37th place for him right now. The pace should be around 30 points. 29 potentially. It's on the lower end this time in this heat. So we'll have to see. Still a long way to go for Mitro.
Yeah, you got to be getting to top 75 to start getting those placement points. A lot of people get there, though. For Mitro, he hasn't really broken past the top 20 yet. He hasn't really seen some of those final zones, and if you've ever watched Fortnite, you know how good Mitro is once he reaches there. If he gets unleashed slightly, if he breaks those locks right now that are there on his mental, maybe his gameplay, and finds one end game, I can only imagine what we will see.
It's an interesting season for Mitro because he's lost his beloved pump, and he's one of the players who's so good at pre-firing that the charge shotgun kind of adds that to everybody's repertoire, where you have to charge it up and then fire it off when the time comes. Mitro was good at that with just the pump shotgun. Here he is. He could be in a fight. No. Oh. Okay. Oh, no. That's so unfortunate. Scouts plays the roof well, and I think that is somebody who knows this Weeping Woods area significantly. You see these roof plays all the time. You've actually heard a number of top players talk about how dangerous these roofs are and how they actually build up and over so that they can make sure that that situation does not happen. Booga being one of those players who knows in the early game and has talked about how important it is for him to do that. Micho falls.
The Scouts is looking really good right now. He has just adjusted his game style every single game to hit top 10 in game number 3. Now number 4, taking out Micho, who's right beside him on the leaderboard. Noah Riley, though, is fighting Nom 6 right now. Might have a little bit of trouble. He's trying to hold on to second place, and there's a reason he's second. It's because he's making plays like this. Quick, acted, crash pad, box jumps that will always land with accuracy right afterwards on those tack shots. He's done this so many times in the first 3 games. He will continue to do so today and only take out these people who are trying to threaten his top spot.
Important thing, no damage taken for him. A lot of loot available now. And he'll continue to actually earn a little bit more points as the placements get divvied out. Especially with that extension of the game that he just got. With no damage done, that means no heals spent. His inventory continues to be good and set up for the end game. Look at that Floki. He slowed down a little bit after that first game that he had. But he's back into contention. 5th place right now with the 26 points that he has. And he's very close to Pickus on the other side, 3 below for him, and that's going to be the sign for him to jump in the box. I don't think this crash pad works. No, you've got to get on the floor for that to land on, so it will push you in. Unfortunate. And now that brings him lower on the crash pads. Also missing completely an inventory spot. Spent already some materials. He's going to try again, but I think that just pushed him out the way. Oh, he went on the other side, and that's a beam now from Floki.
He has to do something. He's getting hit by Storm Surge right now and does not really have the utility available to survive. The reason he's using these crash pads is because the server's taking damage down onto him. There it is. No shields left because of it. It's an easy pickup for Floki. One of the most consistent players right now. No wins, but still top 5. It's because of this game plan, because he's 300 damage above Storm Surge, that he's looking flawless in both early, mid, and end game every single game. With 72 people still left, 71 now, Surge is still ticking, and there might be a few players who are under it trying to still dive into boxes.
Floki now starting to rotate. There's a moment in Surge where everybody stays still for a second to kind of identify who the people who are under Surge are, so you can stay away from them or capitalize like Floki just did. 1 player to go down. It's probably already down. Floki following up. He gets position on this. Finally, we have a more centered zone. Oh, he's going to go in, but again, the crash pad misses. Another opportunity. There's the wall pressure coming through, but there's more players in here than he actually paying attention to. Thankfully, Fezzle is the only one in his sights and the only one who's paying attention at all. Floki will catch him trying to pickaxe through old builds on the escape.
Really good at picking up all these mid-game eliminations, and that's very nice for your total mat count, especially if you make it to those eliminated bodies. And Floki is, because they're so close side by side. He's getting Storm Surge and then moving across the map into places where he's predicting people are in trouble, haven't done enough damage. People coming out of Slurpy Swamp where they don't see as many people, where there's less people overall on the map. It's very smart. FlyZ will have to develop some sort of strategy as well to do so. At 11 points right now, he is not really close to the top 25. He's kind of behind the entire pack. He's had a few or just 1 good game right now where he's kind of made it to end game, but this game 4 is going to be very, very important for him.
Another box fight, another Elim. That's Mr. X, who we've seen fall in that exact situation already in game number 2. He falls again, and so do his chances at achieving a qualifying spot for the grand finals. We're going to kind of shift gears, not only talking about the top spot, but also...
Wow.
That was a dodge and a half. No, actually, it wasn't a dodge that landed on Carney.
No, it didn't. He was already 1 HP. And he crash padded an RPG at the perfect time. Got to be so tough for Carmi right now. Game number 4, 16 points. He is in the top 25, but if he can't stay in this game, he will be knocked out completely. Has a little bit of utility, but how safe is he really? No mats yet. No mats at all. It's over for him. Sindre picks it up with one of the best dodges we've ever seen, I would say, in Fortnite, especially near the mid game. It's flashy, but it's not going to really keep him in here. Game 5 will be very important for him.
Right now we're in game 4. Right now it's kind of the quiet point as people start to make it in. And because it's center zone, we're not going to see that influence that we've talked about time and time again of the empty side of zone, dead side. Right now it's kind of all sides have a lot of players on it. Noah Riley staying above the lines of sight up on the mountain. Same with a couple of other players, but down below inside the trees. There's PCH. He was hanging on to the top early, but now he's fallen. 21 points right now will put him outside the top 12. He's going to get aggressive, though.
I've seen PCH really good in box fights, especially when he deals damage first. I believe he did end up getting... No, he didn't actually end up getting the player who was in front of him, but he has control of the loot overall, which is very good, because he has used a little bit of materials on all 3 sides, wood, metal, and brick. He'll be able to get his wood all the way up to max, find a little bit of brick too, but that metal, very important to have overall in the late game. You were talking about things not really getting crazy all the way up top on mountains, but in the forest down below, oh my god, it's just all about angles, dealing damage, trying to survive. A launch pad used within the trees. I don't think that player actually went all the way up and anywhere. He might have been blocked.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, I think, for PCH. Yes, he might have gotten the tag. He wanted the Elim, but hey, I'll take a launch pad too. This would be perfect for the fifth zone rotation, so he boxes it up full metal. Hopefully that won't break. An SMG, the only spray weapon that he has. Not good at long ranges, but it connects anyways onto Killer Mike. And that's the Elim in the bank for him. 22 points now. Again, still has that launch pod. Slightly out of zone, but he's still going to be able to use that and utilize it for what is a max distance pull.
It's actually really interesting that he got an elimination with the SMG. I think it was Resub who I was looking at one of the videos that he made. In FNCS qualifiers number 1, there wasn't actually any SMG eliminations near the end game at all. So I'm curious to see if that maybe was the first even that we've seen so far near these end games. Really cool fact there, but everyone else is moving. They won't have the close range of the SMG to really use. They'll have to be flying in the air. Scouts is blocked. I don't know who this player is beside him, but it must be so scary to have that blocked and have this player stay for the hunt, for the chase. He now moves. Scouts can take a breather again, stay in the sky, and then find his base ultimately.
Don't forget, this is the player who took out Micho. It looks like he's hunting for another one. He might land on top of the ramp exactly where he played. Potentially going to find himself an Elim, a pickup as he moves still over this mountain and into zone. That launch pad not even enough. He doesn't end up getting that, but still stuck on the outside. There's a player right above his cone. He gets cracked. Shield damage done. And there it is. Playing the cone, now has to play the rotation. Where does he go from here? Lots of people are going to be looking straight at him.
I'm liking Scout Z right now a lot. All the way from the first game, getting taken out outside of placement, getting into top 10, and now getting eliminations in game number 4 of Europe to set himself up for an amazing endgame. Who even knows? Maybe a win. If he did that, he could break all the way up into top 10. He could soar to the skies, not only in these standings here today, but in reputation too. You got to remember how many people are watching this back home, how many competitors from all the other heats are looking at their rivals, where they're dropping, how they're playing. He's really setting a name here for himself against people like Letwick, Mongrel, all these amazing players in all aspects of the game. He's one of them, but look at what he has to face.
The first time we see not in the hands of Fuze, but it's going to be on his org mate Letwick this time. Potentially they ended up fighting. Jen is still up. He takes out one. It's on Kredz. I think now that's an opportunity for Janice to kind of retake the throne. But Letwick right now is a big threat. He's going to launch pad quickly over to the 6th zone. Not even a short launch because he wants to maintain the height. He has the materials to do so. But this is much more of a team mode play than a solo play, because this is what happens. People start to focus you because they want the height. Mongrel's down below him. Wolfie's still up. Finally makes it past after that game 3 trouble. We see Noah Riley down on low ground too. So this is going to be a big one to shake up the standings.
So Noah holds down the earth while Letwick is just basically looking at all the airwaves. Flick, though, gets caught in between, taken out immediately. A big endgame player. Not going to be able to play today. Reason, though, is up. I would say for one of the first times near this endgame. He had one here before, but once again, he gets to have a say into how these games are going. A charge shot that actually didn't land, but shields that got taken up for him. He's looking kind of healthy now. So low on mats though. A charged shotgun shot in combination with the crash pad and the AR spray keeps him alive in this game. So many mats, more utility, and shields to boot.
And that was on Vato too, one of the best French players. Reason now starting to make his rise, 27 points. He wasn't in the top 10 before this game, but now he's starting to rise up there as well. 35 players left. He picks up an RPG too. That could be useful, but more importantly, he got all the way up to 82 materials as Noah Riley goes down. That was our second place before this. And now we're in the top 30. Who else? Mongrel falls too. So all of a sudden, this is wide open. Those players are not rising in the standings. They might have enough to hold on to it for now, but they're getting closer. Reason lands, charges, and fires. One elim again, 2 now up for him, and he's still rotating through the 7 zone in the top 25.
Top players falling down. The zone is going completely downhill. Reason is taking down low ground warriors and still fighting box to box. He's unstoppable, fueling himself. Momentous. 3 eliminations, not even a use of that RPG just yet. 13 rockets to add to this absolute destructive wave of box dives and eliminations. He's looking so good. This is the way he wins games. He has big statements. On low ground is what he wants to control. Letwick, though, is that warrior that can stop the whole server by storm with a shockwave launcher. He gets kind of hit off of height. Reason is in another box. Charge shots side by side. The crash pad will save that player, but how much further can he go?
This is the top 15. He still has upwards of 80 builds remaining. He can work this for so long. And we also have Wolfies up on low ground. There's still Letwick up on height, potentially still more shockwaves in the inventory, and Lex makes it the top 12, but I think this is Reason's game to potentially overtake. Here's the RPGs, so many rockets in the inventory, and it connects for another one, but a response, actually, from somebody else. The rocket baits for another one to come in, and Reason now has to spend time to heal up.
A tactical war on all fronts. Every single person is holding on to their lair. There hasn't really been a switch from any side, just RPGs and shots taken from side to side, over and over. Letwick dropped down by Reason. Does not have height, but we know how fast that can change. No shield for him, though. He goes all the way up, trading that out with Reason. Reason now possibly getting lower on mats. Has to drop down slightly. Wolfies is alive. Floki, too. This is a top 5 endgame with 5 players left alive. Reason with a pocket RPG. Lands the headshot. Almost lands the RPG shot, too. He's in the place of pressure, but getting pressured himself from height. Letwick is still up there. 4 players now left alive. Wolfies taken out by an RPG. Maestro taken down to just a sliver of HP while Letwick watches, waits for his moment to strike. Reason now falling down, really putting on the pressure. No builds left. We know what happens when he's faced with a difficult decision. He's always there with the shot. A final 1v1 for Letwick and Reason.
Letwick hasn't gotten an impact this entire time, so I think he's out of materials. Meanwhile, floppers for Reason. They're going to go for it, though! And he connects! Doesn't even need the floppers, even though he gets sent out his own. Uses 1, but there it is. Reason back at it again. 44 points, and all the people that we thought had an opportunity to take this heat by storm are here. Mongrel, Noah Riley, Janice, Reason, Floki, all of them contesting for that top spot.
Man, so much change in that game. The top 5 is definitely live in Europe right now. Who is in that top 25, though? Who is faltering? Only the analysts can help us with that. Zeke, Monster, Sundown, give it to me.
I'm loving the energy, Shio. Absolutely an incredible game. I mean, Reason, yet again, just another big name that we've been seeing over the last 2 weeks of competition. And says, look, boys, I need to qualify. I need to push through in the top 25. And Sundown, with this performance, he's done it.
Yeah, ending up, I believe it was 44 points there at the end with the huge victory route coming through, 7 eliminations. But Letwick also pushing himself up there, making a surge, trying to get in position. And you also saw Wolfies in the top 4 there, securing his spot through to the grand finals as well. So good on him. Him and Reason definitely showing up today, and we expected that.
Absolutely. I mean, MDF, no surprise. Mongrel holding strong at the top yet again. But with that, Reason jumps up there. Jen is still holding Floki, Noah Riley. But take a look, Monster. Last time we talked about it, Wolfies had dropped to 13th. Now almost doubling back up to 7th.
This is a great top 10 we're looking at, man. I'm loving the names that we're seeing secure their way, secure their ticket to Grand Finals Sunday. Noah, Floki, Janice, Reason, Mongrel. We have Wolfies right there, 34 points. You see swaps, racks. SD only getting 1 point that game. Will he be able to do it? Will he be able to get his game in order? He's got the victory out from the start, but he has been so frozen on the feed. Someone who jumped up, though, Maestro into top 10. So showing that anything can happen. The switches are happening. The tidal waves are coming in. Players like Letwick and Toos, look at them breaking their way up to top 20. Now's the time to really put up. They need just a little bit more points. This is the final stretch for the players. We have 2 more games in front of us.
Yeah, and you can see everyone who has gotten above that 32 mark has made it so far. So 8 players effectively have booked their spot into the grand finals. However, everyone else on this page still very much in the running. You currently see Juker1 holding that spot. 21 points is the line right now. You can expect that to jump up right around 9 or 10 points. Again, 32 has been safe. We're going to be talking a lot about that number over the course of the next couple of games and when players are able to get above that, because that's really kind of the sign, the little flag waving saying, hey, yes, you can go through and you get to play and be one of the top 100 players in the toughest region in Fortnite.
Yeah, and someone that specifically Monster called out is Esty, who's sitting at 27 points. Looking out at top 30, they can still make that jump. It just takes a handful of eliminations. A top 5 finish somewhere in the middle, they can still strike and place in top 25. Gentlemen, the story here has got to be who is on the bubble and who are just having these games that are suddenly cementing themselves in top 25.
Yeah, you have to push through and get guaranteed that. You talk about Esty, but don't forget he won one of those first games with elimination, has been quiet since, but these guys haven't. You can see Light, we talked about him earlier on, the World Cup qualified player, needing to find the plays, needing to convert on these, and he's someone who's going to go in, be aggressive, picks up wrecked there, and you can see him also just playing defensively pretty well here, covering himself in the cone. You have to do all of the right things. You have to find these impact eliminations when you get the opportunity, and unfortunately was unable to convert there.
Yeah, and the story there is just showing how close but how far they are. They're on par to make their way through just consistency, but it's going to take a little bit more. Someone who proved that they can do it as well, it's Maestro. He was digging for a little more here. You can see the frags coming in, the big pickups. These are the elimination chains that allow him to be right back into the conversation, right back into the qualifying pace that he needs to be on. That's the story right now. Who is on the bubble? Who is going to make it to Grand Final Sunday? And I mean, Maestro just had one of the better performances that we've seen from someone who was far behind and needed to close the gap.
And especially with only 2 games remaining now, you really have to start executing on those game plans. You have to start looking at that point line, looking at what everyone else is around you, knowing what exactly do I have to do, because if you can't cross that line already, it's not going to be good enough. But here was a player who was able to get across that line. We talked about it, Wolfie securing himself in there, and then Reason just with a huge play at the end and a good recognizing point to know that his opponent is going to be low on resources, and with just 5 HP to spare, picks up the AR shot to secure the victory royale.
And I just wanted to say the significance behind that is those are their qualifying moments right there. Reason quite literally punching his ticket. He's there. And as is Wolfie's. Those elims that he caught there was just the final nudge, the boulder over the hill for him, as we saw Mongrel do just 2 games ago. So big names pushing their way through. Those are the moments that solidify them. On the other side of the coin, though, you saw Light fall short. Maestro kind of step it up, but that's the battle. That's the battle right now.
And it's all going to come down to this, right? 2 games left. You have to make or break these games, right? And for you guys at home, watch the elimination feed. Anytime you see any of these big names fall, that's it. They have to then hold and wait for the next game to start up. And that's when you're going to see this leaderboard swap up, right? Sundown, you're going to see people make these pop-off performances and say, that guy's down. Now is my time. I need to make something happen.
Yeah, and as a viewer, the key thing you're looking for is when people are crossing or right around that 30-point threshold, it means you're going to be seeing them again on Sunday. And then as well, because every single one of these points matters, when you see those placement thresholds, it's really important to note, hey, who goes down in that first 25? Who goes down in that next 25? Is somebody dropping? If you see a player who's right on the bubble and they get eliminated in 11th, or they get eliminated in 16th or 31st, in Moki's case, that 1 point could end up being the difference.
Every interaction will matter going forward. With that being said, let's get ready to send it into game number 5 of the FNCS here in Europe.
It's a tie game at the top of the leaderboard, and we've got 2 more to go. We're in game number 5 right now, and it's Mongrel in a battle against Reason.
2 games left for these 2 titans to just put it all down on the floor. But it all starts with drops. Where is everyone going to start their final 2 games off?
We've seen a number of them so far. Mongrel obviously at the Fortilla. Reason has been landing Holly Hedges, contested as you can see if he's still there. But then look at Stevie Stacks for Janice, who's in 3rd place right now. There's 4 players there. And he might, no, sorry, 3 plus a Marauder pack. Regardless, it's not only the battle for the top that matters most, it's also that top 25 spot. The last 2 chances you have to make an impact to get there, if possible.
We'll have players like Moki who are just not there yet, but still have 2 chances to get there. Absolutely.
And a lot of space here for Moki. She can make it work. She's already done it in game 2 to get a lot of points to get where she is now. Just got to find some extra juice just for her to get up towards that top 25 spots. A lot of other people too on that range. It's Mitro. There's other players as well who are on the outside looking in or right on that edge. And Alex in 21st right now. We even have others like ADN who we've seen play pretty well who are 48th. So many people. I mean, again, we're trying to find out our last 25 players. And out of this pool of 100, 75 of them, unfortunately, will not be making it through. But these last 2 games are the opportunity to do that. Same thing for Jamside. Same thing for everybody else. The threshold today, most likely looking like 29 points. For Jamside, that's only 8. If he splits 4 and 4 over these last 2 games, or even better, solidifies it right here, right now. It's all possible.
You get those points from both placements and eliminations. Yes, he could go on a tear right here, but you got to remember, for Europe, the heats, there were 4 qualifiers to put these guys in 4 different heats. 100 of the best players right now are fighting for top 25. Jamside will start that elimination run fast, all the way over at Camp Cod, isolated and taken out by Pickus.
And just like that, the 8 points that he needs all have to come into the final game now, where all the pressure is on you. And it's so difficult to rise up to that pressure. When it's all on your shoulders right here, this could be the end of your FNCS. Jamside now switching gears and really focusing up on how to make this 8th or this 6th game work for him while he waits for this 5th game to wrap up.
We're watching right now, Wise. We've seen him get some very impactful eliminations. Yes, 15 total points. But with this hunting rifle, he stopped people's tears and runs on the standings and in the region with just 1 bullet.
All it takes. All it takes is 1 misstep. 1 moment where you leave a gap for somebody who's completely not related to you for a brief second to take a couple of shots just like this. There's a box fight on this. I think it's Spectrum Benji 4K, who just wrapped up the fight now. Wise is going to get involved, thinks that this is a low HP player. I don't know if he saw some shield crack, but regardless, he gets out of the box, thankfully, just in time, because Wise was getting in. Now he's going to pressure, try to pickaxe it down. He almost takes it, but there's the reverse ramp. He's going to start to escape out the backside.
Goes all the way up top, though. It's not done for Wise. He has so many options to be able to get into this box. There it is. Triangular edit. Takes 1 of the shots. Gets right close and personal to make sure there is no advantage for Benji 4K. He gets taken out. Wise, once again, arises closer and closer towards the top. You have to remember, at this stage of the game for Wise, at 16 points, to get the top 25, he is basically tied with so many people. 1 elimination ball, 1 point, makes him rise up 10 places in standings.
Yep, that it does. So many people ready to strike, but who will actually turn that in a different direction? Hopefully. Right now for Moki, that might be changing as well. Gonna engage on a fight on the backside of the zone. This is where she's good. She's good at fighting in these spots. But on the backside, it's a player already starting to chug splash up. There it is. The zip line to break. I don't know if that was intentional, but if it was genius. There's a big one. 63, the trades are good. Continue to break with the zip line. Certainly intentional at this point. Going to continue forward, another 75 tag. Only 150 remaining, and there it is. What a shot for Moki to get up to 15 points now, and also all of the loot available for her now. That's the confidence she needs when she starts rolling in these fights to continue for this placement in this heat.
Sometimes being behind the pack is a good thing. Definitely for someone with Moki's mindset, because it really pushes you forward when you start to gain momentum. And with that elimination, she's going to be going straight towards zone, hopefully to an X fight, and possibly to qualification in Game 5.
As you just saw on your screen, right here, right now, we have so many of the top players that we saw through the FNCS qualifiers who had the most series points going into the heats, all in that top 10 right now. So this is so difficult to actually not only win out, but just make it through in general. This heat has had the most players who had top 50 finishes throughout the qualifiers in this heat. That gives you that difficulty spectrum. That tells you how hard this is right here, right now.
You can see it on the standings too. The man who won the first game, ST Shadow, no, taken up by ADN there. Another quick sniper shot. But the people who have won games are still finding it difficult to keep performing and staying towards the top spots. People who are making endgames who you would expect, like Mongrel, to be there every single time, are not actually making it off spawn sometimes. There's people like ADN in the mix who have their game plans, have their sniper shots so on point that Wolfies is even having trouble fighting box to box, getting crash pads in properly. He's going to be trying here, but ADN is setting stuff up to make sure it's not easy for him. Hasn't really taken any damage. Wolfies is bouncing all around the place, and ADN is still holding the top spot in this fight.
He has to win this fight against Wolfies, and Wolfies is not going to stop. Once Wolfies qualifies in a tournament, you know it's all on from there. This man just continues to go for it. Another crash pad potentially going to be thrown for Wolfies. No, only one left. He's going to save that for a rainy day. ADN on the bottom side of this. He's going to go out to the side, try to dodge shots if the counter edit does come through. There's another wall taken from Wolfies, constricting the space of ADN. They're going to go higher and higher, running out of materials. Another crash pad that might break it all down, but no, still remain held up by his stair. ADN trying to hold on. He's got to be able to actually finish this fight, because like I said, Wolfies will not stop.
That's what ADN was waiting for, the third party. As this fight gets higher, Wolfies' position gets even more risky. Now he's disengaging, dropping down. But look at his mats. Look at what he's using. He's used all his brick, all his metal, down to wood. ADN, while doing nothing, just playing defense, has gained the advantage, gained the offense in this fight. With zone coming too, it'll be in ADN's favor. He'll be in control on how both these players move, and where they will actually end up taking their stories in Game 5.
But at what cost? Was that not the opportunity for ADN to disengage from this? Wolfies was going down to the bottom. Could he not have built over towards the top of Risky Reels and made his way away, tried to escape this for sure storm fight that Wolfies will attempt? He's going to keep looking back. This sniper's still also in the hands. This is dangerous for ADN. He is playing and riding a dangerous line. Thankfully, the Mad Dog has slowed down for now.
He's still waiting for a trap, but I think I know what ADN was doing. If you notice on the top left, you saw the number go down to 74. With this format, when you hit top 75, that's when you end up getting a point. He was waiting for that guaranteed point before really making any more risky moves. You'll see so many fights now go full throttle, as they were waiting on standby before for this free placement point. Light is in a three-way fight all the way at Dirty Docks. We saw him finish things out fast before, but this time they're taking slightly a little bit longer. He has about 300 materials left. Really has to get a siphon, a refresh off of any one of these eliminations, but it's a fight at a distance in a close range box, and he gets right into Light.
Oh no!
Light.
What happened? Oh no! It looked like he had the shots. He already got the advantage on him, but still 47 HP remaining for Kims. Light had it. He was in there, but misses the last fatal 2 shots that he would have needed. And unfortunately, it looks like Kims hits harder. This fight will continue, though, against Rax.
Rax is definitely the person you have to be watching in this fight. There was an end game that ended out here. He went toe-to-toe with Mongrel. This is his spot. He knows exactly how to take these vertical fights down. We'll switch over, though, towards Belvid and Richard all the way near the middle. Richard today It's been so good to just watch him make these end games, get double eliminations back to back over and over again. And this time we'll see how. It's because of this big damage, the room he creates for himself with these shots, with possibly mid-game eliminations. Looking at Zero right now, but his loadout screams accuracy. It screams easy elims. Belvid taken out of Game 5.
Start right on the side of this right here, the Polish player did so well all the way back when, but since then has not really found that taste of success since 2019. This year, though, hopefully it's time for him to change as we move into the second half of 2020. Can he repeat the performance that he had to win the ESL Katowice Polish Invitational? And this fight continues. This is what I'm saying. How does ADN escape? I told you that Wolfies will not stop. I told you. Now ADN has not found time to farm, and he's got to take this to completion. The storm is moving. Ooh. Oh, the hunting rifle shot to actually break down the floor that Wolfies was on as he resets is exactly what he needed. Now time is back on his side. He'll find some bandages and hopefully he can make it out of zone, but it's going to be a very tall task.
A man of sheer commitment and will in Wolfies versus a man of many talents and many different options with ADN. Today the options will reign victorious, but remember, there is one more game and I don't think those guys will be switching drops, so we'll see a rematch very soon.
So what that is saying basically is ADN, even though he's in a shambles position in this game, given the fact that we know Wolfies will be on the same warpath, ADN not only has to escape that path, but also, if indeed that fight continues again, he needs this game to count so hard to make it towards qualification. I think he can do that.
And even if it's not just off drops, you can see that same effect for all these players. Stenna, 16 points, crash pads, chuck splashes. He has such a good opportunity to turn this position into points, into placements, into eliminations. And he does. A nice pickup right there, I think, from distance. I saw the siphon come in, yes. Code taken out, trying to fight Marauders. He's going to have to get that loot, though, get the wood back, the materials, through all these Marauders, and then push even more forward into the game. 17 points right now. Is right near that top 25. It's about 35th place, so he needs about a few more points. He'll be up there.
Astro right on that bubble. One more point will do it for him, and he's got to survive for 11 more players to go down, at least to get close. This is a brief moment. I thought that was a real player. Yeah, exactly. My breath was like, okay. I'm like, hold on. Why are we reviving people in the middle of this? It is going to be a box fight, though. A real player. This time there's Stinks involved. Yes, he forces the fight onto Floki and gets what he needs to qualify through. Potentially clinched with that one elimination. Maestro's still going to move forward. The Marauders are still here, though, and RPG starting to rain. Might force the lobby to focus. Got to be careful. Got to be so careful. He wants to survive and really clinch this out.
Rax, Maestro, Janice, all their teammates have already qualified. You think that Maestro has this clinched out with that elimination? It could change. They could not see their teammates in the grand finals have a battle with them for the top. Dude. RPG right now, I think, is coming in from a Marauder. It might be a player, but I don't think someone will go all in. It is a player, actually. Going all in. It's Andalex, who takes him out. Is 29 points enough? I'm not sure, but Andalex ends it out. Flick, who's been taken out before every endgame, I think, is also pretty frustrated. He might want a fast elimination here too, but he backs off before slightly maybe even coming back in. But is 29 enough? That's the main question.
That is the question. That's the projection that we have right now, but things could change. So if you get above 29, you're pretty confident about that. So that's going to be the range to look for. Andalex, who just picked up that Elim, by the way, was only on 22 points before this game. Now potentially on 24 with the Elim and the placement point that's already come through. He needs to qual. That is the reigning champion. So pay attention to him. He is the guy with the Axe of Champions on EU. And things are getting dicey for him. Dietrich's too, though. 14 points. He will get a big tag on the bottom side of this building. And Lazy Lake, and it's Stormy Red who falls. Unfortunate for him, but Dietrich's is fighting just as hard to make that qual spot.
Dietrich's, every player we've seen so far too, have so much to lose and a lot to prove. And you can see it in their shots. They're patient, everything landing for more than 100. Heat 2 is at 15 points. Around 50 players are in the same position, and only top 25 can qualify. They're trying to hold their position. They're trying to hold these other 50 players from coming in and taking their spots in making the grand finals. It is so close on both sides of this leaderboard.
Oh, you're right. And switching gears to the top side, we have Reason right there sitting next to Mongrel, who are pretty much tied neck and neck before this game started. After game 4, that's where the situation was. We haven't seen their names come in through the elim, so we have to assume it's the same thing. Right now is the chance for them to kind of shift paces. We've seen Heat's winners win grand finals in the past, specifically in EU. It was Alex and Nate who actually won Heat 2 to make it and win the grand finals. So we'll see. This will mean a lot, especially for confidence, especially for Mongrel, who picks up 1. Mongrel, if he wins this heat, I will 100%. This is a new Mongrel. This is Mongrel 2.0, ready to play for the grand final stages, ready to play for the set lobbies since the kind of fall after trios, how difficult it's been for him since then. I should say squads, actually, with the second place that he had.
Yeah. I mean, he's been so good. Now it's a refresh for him. Hydro getting taken out by Cartoon at 19 points. So I was going to mention, we're looking at these top players now, the top 25. For Mongrel Reason, people like Noah Riley, these guys,
les gars, je suis de retour, bande de fous.
right? No matter what happens, they're
Les
fine.
bandes de fous.
For the people,
Comment vous allez, bande de
like
fous?
Hydro, right? In the top 15,
Allez, Rira, tu
top
vas appeler
20,
Discord?
It's scary. They could
Yes.
be at the point threshold, 27, but it's not certain for them.
Not certain at all. Uncertainty pretty much for everybody in the lobby, except maybe that
Il y a une Discord
Mongrel.
après,
Everybody
frère.
else,
C'était
though,
là.
you're right. They're shaking in their boots. But I'm still interested in that duel. Of course, don't forget, there was that duel on day number 1, Mongrel against Reason. Had the
Vérifiement,
same type
j'ai un
of
peu
thing.
regardé
Reason ending up
comment
coming
t'as géré
out
le
on
live
top, taking
parce
them out
que
in the final game to
j'avais
stop
mis le
Mongrel's
live
run.
juste à côté de moi et je regardais un peu le chat, juste le chat. Et bah franchement, tu l'as bien géré. Nickel.
Two of the players with success in recent solo tournaments.
Vous êtes pas ennuyeux en
even in
regardant
the
les
set lobby
FNCF.
stages. Mongrel at the end of season 2 started even winning.
Ouais, t'inquiète, j'ai regardé en
with
plus
that
les
set
anciens
lobby
pommes.
format in the
J'adore
final.
comment vous parlez. Vous avez vécu
But you're
pareil.
right, again, turning things around. ADN has made it out of zone after the fight against Wolfies, and he looks healthy, but
C'est un live
looks
English, les
can
gars,
be
si vous voulez,
deceiving.
je peux le mettre en français. Je
Yeah,
sais.
so far, elimination there. Oh no, that was on Hydro way earlier. So Zani is chilling now with another one
Attends,
afterwards.
je vais essayer.
Good pick up for him. Match
Je vais
though
essayer,
are
les gars.
looking pretty
Je sais
low
pas si on
even
peut.
after that elim.
Si on
Another
peut
player
trouver
here on
un
the
retour
wall.
live
Actually, I think
encore,
maybe
je
ended up
t'attends.
getting everything over there. I think it's Nom 6, but eliminations right now matter so much. Everyone alive is getting
direct, on va
placement,
voir les gars
and
si
they're
on
so
peut.
close in the leaderboards that
En
it
français,
doesn't really
je pense
matter that
pas.
you're surviving. It matters that you're getting that extra point
Attends.
of eliminations
Fortnite
overall
France,
as you're
peut-être,
moving
attends.
around, that you're taking out other people.
Fortnite Fr.
So even when we say the top
Peut-être sur
5
live,
surviving,
Fortnite
it doesn't matter much for their qualification. Every elimination that Mongrel gets, that Noah Riley gets,
FR, attends,
they
sur live.
basically stop people from
Putain,
being
live
able
pas,
to
please.
qualify.
Pour les
And that
FNCF,
is
oh
huge.
putain. Fortnite.
Two sitting on the outside looking in, too. He only has 24 points, and we've seen him had the shockwave watching
FNCS.
3 games out of the 5 that we've watched so
Je vais
far.
voir s'il y en a qui sont en live.
This time doesn't have it. This time,
Sinon, c'est pas grave,
maybe
les gars,
gonna
on
play a
sera
little different. Of
patient.
course, that shockwave launcher changes so much for you. Okay, it's Scouts who falls. Gambit
Non, y a pas.
takes advantage of that. Another player
Y a pas, les
drops
gars,
his
désolé.
box. He's got the wall. He almost could go for it, but no, gonna opt to go for that 5th zone instead. Make sure that he's safe after popping
Ah,
the
je
pepper.
regardais pas les
He's
gars,
got so
ok.
much to work with. His Reason picks up at Elim as well.
Is it just
Mais
me,
là,
or does
juste
Fuze
là,
feel
on
more
regarde
fluid
les
now
FNCS.
without that
Yes.
shockwave launcher, without the pressure?
Ah, c'est pas lui, les gars,
I
c'est.
agree with that. That's exactly the type of
Il
thing
avait
that
un.
changes up. Mongrel finds one too. Two's gonna be a fight.
Je sais pas si c'était
Oh,
lui,
he
mais
drops
peut-être
him
qu'il
down.
avait
The
un.
double edit is so good for
On a
Twos.
Gamebot.
That's what he needed with the
Avant,
pepper.
enfin, il l'avait utilisé, je crois.
Quickness from him.
Tout le monde dit
You
ça.
say fluid.
Moi,
That is
j'adore
certainly
Okego.
silky smooth.
Heureux Bruno.
Yeah, I mean, after just breaking down those chains, dropping the weight,
Je suis content
because
d'avoir
it is
fait
a
un
weight
live
that you
et qu'il y
have on
avait
yourself,
beaucoup de
pressure,
joueurs.
when you have that
Franchement, vous
shockwave
gérez, les
launcher.
gars.
He is looking speedy,
Non, là, c'est la
running
dernière game, si
circles
je dis pas
around
de
everyone
bêtises.
else, controlling builds,
Je sais pas
and
pour
also
truc après.
having height.
De toute façon, ça
Without
s'arrête
the pressure,
normalement à 1 heure.
or without the shockwave launcher
Vas-y,
at all,
le temps,
he
les gars,
just-
je vais lancer
he
mon
pops just
Fortnite,
one
c'est le truc
shockwave
que.
to get all the way up top.
Je sais pas, je
Have
tout de suite, si on
control
finit les
over everyone.
FNCS,
This
après
time,
peut-être je vais.
natural position.
Non, faudrait que je fasse la
Very
vidéo, les
gameplay
gars.
to get up there.
Parce que je vais
But
vous
it's
sortir
ADN
une ou
who
deux
survived
vidéos
up until this
quand
point
je vais partir en vacances.
and is still contending to be the king of the lobby.
Donc le temps, les gars, vous avez ça.
Just gotta breathe for this one.
Tu as joué à Fortnite, toi peut-être tu vois.
If you're all of these guys, 19 points for ADN. Yes, we ramped it up a little bit as we got to that fifth zone because there were so many important moments just then. Eddie, gonna take a couple.
Ah merde. Il s'est coupé les gars, c'est normal. Je suis combien de Fortnite? Oh ça va en vrai, je suis pas... Oh ça va en vrai, ça va les gars. Vous likez les gars, et vous abonnez aussi, ça ferait extrêmement plaisir. Je vous mets en monté. Je l'ai pas trop en français, hein, pour ceux qui veulent savoir.
So many top 50 players in this game are rising towards the top 25. Those players are still alive, and the top 10 are also here to play. With 37 people left, this is going to be one of the closest Game 5s and an even closer Game 6 of Europe. Down here is Nate, taking out one of the top 5 players, Noah Riley, moving forward, making the lobby easier. And after that, not stopping, it's 2 afterwards. Rax goes down. Reason is still alive, though, but that's 3 big players out of game number 5.
Thankfully, Nate has the tools that he needs to actually work through this. Peppers and floppers.
Ouais, je pense à la fin, je vais arrêter pour faire les vidéos. Je pense. Là, je vais être tranquille un peu, je vais regarder. En vrai, Nate, il
And he needs to get to the top 10. Jan is going to be in this one as well. This game going to be so close, but also so many people fighting and vying for that qualification. ADN going to go down. This is risky because the zone could pull up. But if he makes it work, it will matter so much to
Là, ça va, je vais rester fort à la fin.
ADN! 6 eliminations now, and I think he's about to do it. That was on Nate.
Je sais pas si tu vois, mais...
The bottom half of the leaderboard has had enough. They're tired of just getting eliminated every single game, and they're here to just take over completely by storm, by the zone, by position. Janice and Letwick might be the only 2 people left over here who have a say, along with reason of staying alive in the top 3, in the top slots. Waze, ADN, Brett Stone, and Blackie are all the way here on low ground, making sure no one else drops down and takes over their homes. Letwick, though, is still up top. He's controlling. ADN keeping things slightly quiet. We'll see how this actually works out. Janice so low, right on the backside of Storm. Will he be able to survive?
And it's so tense right now. So many people realize what's on the line as we move into the final zone.
Okay,
slowing down, even Mitro slowing down. All these guys realize that every player who goes down is so important for them to get up to that top 25 spot. That's so magical now. Top 10, we're in the final zone. Letwick's still on a hype, but there's battles all around.
All around while Letwick just waits for everyone to just finish their fights for possibly taking another game. A shockwave sends someone straight flying out of the storm. Now 4 people left for Letwick to play with. He's leaving the player he put. Oh my god, that's a big elimination onto Waze. He's out from reason. ADN is taken out by Letwick. Now 3 more people who have no chance at fighting against the shockwave launchers without builds. Letwick's trying to find the angles. Top 3 situation. Mitro, Reason, Letwick. Both these players at the bottom are in the same angles. Letwick is all the way at the top. He's waiting. He's watching. Reason takes out Mitro, and now it's a 1v1. But how high is Letwick? Is it too high? He drops down. Way too high. And it's Mitro. Reason wins. Complete chaos. Unexpected. I did not see that coming.
Les gars, est-ce que vous voulez qu'on aille voir Ouais, t'inquiète, j'ai vu le but, il était grave. Enfin, il était beau. Je le regarde en même temps, moi j'ai un peu. Attendez, j'allais voir le classement.
10 eliminations, 24 points for Reason. He is skyrocketed above Mongo right now, breaking the 60-point barrier. Where is this going in these final games?
Je sais pas s'ils sont pris en compte. Peut-être c'est Facebook, là, attendez.
Where is it going? It's going to the final game. Boys, we continue to see these shakeups. First of all, Reason, again, back-to-back victory royales. Absolutely unbelievable.
Matidja.
Back in the game,
Reason. Face mon Graal. Oh non, mon Graal, il est 53e. Jeanfils, il est 3e. Attendez, ils sont où les Français? Oh, il y a Floki. Floki, il est 5e. Et je connais pas. Antilex, il est 21e. Ah, en vrai, il est loin. Ah, il est grave.
reason finding that win. 68 points, pulling away
Ah
from the
ouais,
pack. Mongrel,
les
though,
Français.
Sundown is still
Je connais pas.
holding strong.
Mongo doing fine there at 53. You can see
Skate.
Janice, No Riley, and Floki rounding out the top
Il y en a
5.
pas, il y en a pas
Reason
beaucoup, je
has
connais.
really established himself along with MCS's
Mais
Exquisite.
en
as
vrai, ils
the
sont pas loin dans les
top
top.
two players coming out of solo so far.
Il y a
They
pas eu
have
beaucoup
been
de Français.
impressive in terms of aggression
Il y a que
and
2 Français que je
executing
connais.
and
hein.
finishing out in the late game. You also have Letwick with
En
a
vrai, quand même,
monstrous
il
performance
a
there,
géré un
taking him
Dilex.
from out of qualification
Scotty
range
Game.
to well in qualification range now
Il a
at
fait combien
39
de...
points.
Attends.
Again, we talked about how tall do you have to be to ride that
Bon,
grand
c'est-
finals ride.
je sais
Well,
pas.
everyone on that page
Ça
has
va
made it
ça.
so
Oh,
far.
punaise. Oh,
Currently,
il
we're
bug.
looking at around 29, 30 points, so we'll say 31, 32 to be
Je vais pas
safe. That
regarder
means
ça, mais bon,
Frejus,
c'est tranquille.
Batate, PCH, and No Luck Nebby. Well, Nebby, your luck has changed. You'll be going through to the grand finals. However,
Et console, il y a
ADN
quoi?
rockets himself up, but still needs a couple points.
Ah, il y a
Maestro,
Crazy
got a
Lazen.
key elimination there,
Oh non,
but
Lazen, il a
still
fait
short.
sur PS4.
Nate Downs, two
Il l'a fait
in
sur
ways,
console.
rounding
Il est
out the
15e.
top 20,
Oh,
and then
tu as vu?
Monster. Look at some of the names on this page,
Après, je connais pas.
particularly who's on the outside looking in.
Gagné
That's right. I
FNCS.
mean, I'm looking at Mitra, I'm looking at
Dis-moi,
Carton,
connais
right?
pas.
These
Y a
are
pas
players
beaucoup
that
de
were
joueurs
having
console
such
que
a
je connais, les
phenomenal
gars.
performance. Slat as well in that previous game. They were popping off.
Oh, il y en a-
Let's give hats
oh,
off
je
to
connais
SC
presque
who found the points
personne,
he
hein, les
needed
gars.
that we saw in that first
Attendez,
top
je vais aller
10.
voir s'il y a des
He's
gens
gonna
connectés.
fall his way. Remember, he took that first Victor Royale too. So it's just showing you that finally now players finding the stride that they need, even in the later half, but it still matters now more than ever. We had a bubble to look at before. Some broke through, some qualled their way through. Now there's even
il
more
va- il y a
stepping up to the
personne en
plate.
ligne.
Mitro probably being one of the more exciting ones on that final page now.
But
I mean,
he
he can
hasn't
make it.
actually
Est-ce qu'on a
been
pu regarder,
exciting today. Let's talk about it. Like going through and looking at it, I've
Ah,
been
voilà.
wanting to
Donc
throw
là, on peut
Mitra in some
regarder.
of the packages,
On
like
va regarder
find
un
the stuff he's doing
Dilex.
because he's right in
Ben,
contention
voilà.
range at 30th. He has 5 eliminations
Voilà,
across 5
alors.
games. He's averaging a
Première
single elim, so it looks
Alors.
like he's
Attends,
trying to
je vais
buckle down and just play for the placement. But as of now, he's really not putting me like in terms of confidence level. He doesn't look like he's playing at a top 25 level.
This is the difficulty of the lobbies, right? This is
Ah,
what
ouais,
we are
je sais pas
facing,
pourquoi.
you know? And again, we'll have to see how things go for his
Attendez,
final
je vais
game.
juste
But on
couper
the
le
other
son
side, Monster,
de
we're
là.
talking about these people on the bubble and those have made it or still looking to make it.
Voilà. En vrai, ils ont... En vrai, il y a juste... Il y a juste comment? On dirait que c'est un cas, j'ai rien. Niveau PC. En vrai, mon Graal. Il a fait des bonnes... Je sais pas, attends. Je vais bientôt couper le live, hein, je pense, les gars. Je vais voir comment il est mort, juste. Ça charge, hein, les gars. C'est contre qui? Attendez. Là, c'est juste les graphiques, les gars. Voilà. Il était contre. Attends, on va voir s'il était bien. Ah, je peux pas voir, merde. Il est là-bas, je pense qu'il s'est fait le laser en l'air. Ouais, je pense... Ah ouais, il va le rush. Il s'est pas du tout fait le laser en l'air, alors. En vrai, il aurait dû aller le jouer. Hein. Je sais pas pourquoi il est pas allé le jouer. Hein. C'est un peu débile de sa part. Heureux Hugo. Ah voilà, là, par contre là c'est intéressant. C'est ce fight. Et s'il mourait, il perdait. Ouais, c'est vrai. C'est vrai, c'est vrai. Après, peut-être, il aurait dû faire un kill refresh. J'espère juste que ça va pas couper, parce que là tout ça coupe, je sais pas pourquoi. Attends. Bam. Attendez. Attendez, je vais mettre en gameplay. En drone centré. C'est le bug de la cam. Ah, ils prennent jamais de fight. Hein. Ah ouais, ils ont jamais pris de fight. Ouais, ça se voit, il veut pas fight. Hein. Il a vu qu'il y avait deux, enfin, un mec à son spawn, non. Ça se voit qu'il voulait vraiment pas fight. Mais en fait, le problème, là, il se retrouve entre eux deux. Et ça, il sait pas. Ça, je pense que c'est pour ça qu'il est mort. Ouf, regardez derrière la flèche. C'est ça qu'il est mort. Regardez la flèche. Ah non, en vrai, ça va. Mais il continue ça. Ah ouais. En vrai, il a géré. Hein. Il a bien fait le contour. Mais ça engage même pas en plus. De l'autre côté. Il aurait dû engager avant. Après, ouais, ils ont fight. Je vais essayer d'aller en fin de zone. Comment on peut aller en fin de zone? On va essayer d'aller en fin de zone, les gars. Pour voir comment il s'est débrouillé en fin de zone. Voilà, on attend un peu. Il va prendre jamais un fight. Je pense que je vais juste un peu flex en creux. Après, je vais arrêter les gars. On sent que les gars, le live il a duré longtemps. 2h31 pour un live repris, c'est pas mal. Bam. On fait vite fait mode stratégie. Bam. On va aller un tout petit peu en mode matchmaking. Et merci les gars d'avoir été nombreux sur le live les gars. Vous régalez. De toute façon les gars, je pense que je vais arrêter là le live sur ça. Juste un peu flex et c'est bon. Flex pardon. Et ouais, je vais arrêter là. Je suis désolé, je vais bientôt partir que je suis resté longtemps, désolé. Ouais mais t'inquiète, hein, c'est pas grave. De toute façon je vais bientôt arrêter le live. Attends, juste pourquoi j'ai pas le son? Très gros problème. Juste pourquoi j'ai pas le son. Ah, c'est bon. C'est bon. Ouais, c'est vrai, mais de toute façon, t'es resté grave longtemps. Donc, t'inquiète, tu peux partir. Sans problème. Attention mec, c'est pas grave si tu peux pas rester longtemps. En plus demain je vais partir à 6h du matin les gars. Donc ça va être un peu chaud pour le réveil. Vous les aimez ou pas? Ah, nécro. Je live encore, ouais, je live encore Tommy. Mais j'ai fait une grosse pause, hein, donc de toute façon, après là je vais arrêter. Quand je vais partir en vacances, à 6h, je vais tout arrêter. En plus je vais faire la vidéo pour les vacances, pour que vous en avez au moins une. Et ça va être, les gars, ça va être sur le clavier souris. Hein. Donc voilà. Donc, pour ceux qui veulent commencer clavier souris, bah ça sera spécial pour ça en fait. Ouais, vas-y, je vais t'ajouter. Bam. Flemme de... Vas-y, on va se fuck. Bam. Je vais prendre ça.
You gotta understand too, every zone we've seen today has been northern. I think this is the first time where we have a southern type zone, and the person with the shockwave launcher is Mocha. The biggest advantage she could possibly...
Je t'ajoute. Mais t'as commencé à quelle heure? Bah ça fait depuis, je pense, 2 heures que je live. Ouais, 2h35. Tiens. Ça va aussi, j'ai envoyé la LD maintenant. YT Iwigo 37. Il s'appelle laquelle live. Ça ferait que ça en plaisir. En plus, désolé si le jeu il est saccadé. Ah oui. Désolé les gars. Depuis le début il est saccadé le jeu, c'est normal. Bah normalement là il sera pas saccadé. Non c'est bon. Et oui, je joue là. Et vas-y, si tu veux, on peut se faire un BF. Ou attends, il est quelle heure? Vas-y. De toute façon, à 15, j'arrête les gars. J'arrête le live. Et désolé de t'avoir pas ajouté un ami avant. Si je faisais un truc en fait. Et si tu veux, je fais un BF. Dis-moi ton pseudo et on fait un BF. mais c'est pour ça que je savais pas. Non, merde, putain. Je rejoins, ok, bah rejoins ma créative si tu veux. Allez, go sur un matchmaking, après bah je ferai la vidéo de mon côté. Ouais, j'ai mangé une salade de pâtes avec du poulet, voilà. Et j'ai ajouté les bonheurs. Bam. Ah mais presque, non, je vais faire juste comment le Tommy ou un truc dans le genre. Attends, Tony, voilà. C'est bon. C'est bon, je t'ai ajouté. Ah oui, mince, ouais, je vais mettre canal groupe. Désolé. J'étais. Si merde, t'inquiète de rien.
Allô?
Ouais, allô? Ouais, t'inquiète, je vais mettre. Ah bah c'est bon, je suis canal groupe.
Ok.
Ça va?
Ouais, toi.
Ah bien. Je fais juste, on fait juste un matchmaking après. Bah, et je vais arrêter. Enfin, je vais faire juste ma vidéo après, j'arrête.
Ok.
Coucou Créa. Tu fais quand juste la minia? Est-ce que tu vas la faire ce soir? Parce qu'en fait, genre, comment? Demain, je vais en vacances, comme je t'ai dit. Donc voilà. Sinon viens, Créa, si t'es encore sur le live, viens Discord. J'ai un problème, attends, sur ma sauce. Bah, je vais mettre dans... Je vais mettre dans combien? Est-ce qu'on m'entend sur le mode? Vas-y mec, je crois que je vais arrêter le live les gars. Mais attends, je vais mettre de mon côté et après on finit le match avec nous tous les deux, mais j'arrête juste le live.
Oh non. Urgence.
Bah m'attendez. J'arrive juste. Bam. Vas-y les gars, j'espère que ce petit live vous aura plu. Hein. J'espère qu'il vous aura plu. N'hésitez pas à liker, partager la chaîne à vos potes et à vos ennemis les gars. bah, pour que la chaîne commence à s'améliorer pour avoir plus d'abonnés, les gars, et bah avoir un peu plus de vidéos sur YouTube, les gars. Donc j'espère que cette challenge vous aura plu, les gars. On laisse avec ça, les gars. C'était DocSize, peace. Je vous laisse un peu la musique, comme ça on va profiter un peu, voilà. Vous pouvez quitter le live, vous inquiétez pas. Donc voilà, les gars, je vous laisse, peace les potes.
You know I had to run up on the bros, that's a bad move. Money over bitch, now she think I'm a bad dude. How sad, oh yeah. 111 shit, that's why I stay. And this bitch is really a lot of hate. Don't care as long as getting paid. Could give a fuck what they say. I had to get to the back, then I lane switch. Stop talking like you wish you ain't gang, bitch. She a thought, damn, she's so faithless. Big was no bitch, you can't face this. Just took another hit, now I'm faded. 2 to 3, so his head made his brain split. Now I'm up at the top, I said, hey, bitch. No, we ain't gon' take pics. That bitch wanna follow my team. She out the molly, little baby, she a fiend. This shit really ain't what it seems. Big what, big dough, what you need? I got love all across the map now. What that body do, baby, I'm tryna map out. All I know is I had to take the bound route. Big dough, this bitch, how to tap out. She out the molly, little baby, she a